laundry to the next level. Super size laundry packs. These things are huge. Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Clean's laundry packs have 4 times the Oxy cleaning power and 3 times the Febreze freshness versus Gain original liquids. Super fresh, super clean.
Yo.
Gain Super Cleans.
Turn that down a little bit. Quick show tonight.
Call us anytime at 888-808-1019. The Fan, 1019 FM, and always live on the Free Odyssey app.
Quickly here. Okay, quickly here. KM to, I don't know, 10 p.m., something like that. 888-808-1019. Basically where I'm at is like, yo, I can't believe that the Yankees are going to be content. They have no reason to be content. I had a clip that our great social team put out today where I basically talked about, okay, the reasons stopping you are over here. What, the luxury tax, spending too much money. They actually have decreased their payroll a lot. When you think about Juan Soto, Gleyber Torres, Rizzo, Verdugo, Clay Holmes, Nestor Cortez, Trevino, some of the departures. I got to get the numbers on it. I did see a graphic where, the Yankees, this better team is less than the team that they had last year. And I have no choice but to believe in Cashman and believe that Cashman has a little bit of an axe to grind, a chip on his shoulder, and just pay attention, right? Stroman getting this first nod, this first look. Yeah, maybe it's a showcase. Maybe it's to put him out there and entice anyone that they might be talking to say, hey, here's Stro. He's healthy. He's in shape. He's ready to go. I know you didn't see him in the postseason or the end of last year, but hey, what can we do? We're looking to add a bat. We're looking to add, a third baseman. And it's not even just the holes that you're thinking of, right? More things keep popping up. Like Trent Grisham has a hamstring. All right, minor thing, but how many outfielders do the Yankees have? Everson Pereira, I saw something about. I'm like, yo, is everybody banged up? All we hear about in the winter is how these guys report early and all that stuff. Everson Pereira will be limited to a DH role until mid-March as he continues to recover from his surgery. So I'm like, okay, who do you all have? Who can we actually rely on? And then once they start to go full tilt, somebody's going to get hurt. So I have no choice but to believe that there's going to be another move here. And I feel fine about it. 888-808-1019. And I think the Mets actually, as far as position players go, their lineup goes, they're in great shape until somebody gets hurt. Now, Frankie Montas getting hurt is another guy that I look at like he's injury prone. They knew about it. They're not surprised about it. You just heard David Stern say he feels really good about their depth. And I would bet that he knew about Frankie Montas when he said that a week or so ago. And they're going to see what they got, right? They're going to see what they have. Someone in my chat puts up the payroll went from 310 to 239 this year. I got to confirm that. I don't know if it's that much of a difference, but I did see a graphic that, the Yankees with their moves, and that is Cashman's specialty. That's what Cashman wants to do. He wants to wheel and deal. He wants to, sell you a Caleb Durbin, Nestor Cortez, Trevino, and, get these other guys out of here. Gleyber Torres, enjoy your beard, not bringing you back. You know what I'm saying? So I feel good that the Yankees aren't done yet. I feel like, even a couple years ago when we were like, oh, Kyle Higashioka is the only catcher. Who is Ben Rortvedt? He doesn't exist. They make a trade for Jose Trevino. This is the time. This is not the last time. This is, a good time to improve your team. And shout out to Big Mac. I'll give him credit because I don't take anybody's stuff and, not give credit where credit is due. Listening to his show, he put me on to a just different perspective of the trade deadline. Because there's a lot of times where I'll say, oh, they'll get it done by the trade deadline. Oh, they have until August to improve third base or add another hitter or whatever. No. In this new postseason format, it has changed the deadline. More teams think that they're in, so more teams are buyers. And it also changes the amount of teams that are willing to sell because they think that they're in. And then also, instead of getting a guy for half the year, right? Get a guy now so you can get the full use out of him, right? Get a guy now before he has some more wear and tear on him. He's coming into the year fresh. 888-808-1019. I didn't take a call because I knew we had to break here and go to the update. When we come back, we'll go straight to the phone. Keep McPherson on the fan. Don't go anywhere. BRB. What's up, man? How are you?
It's cold outside today.
Oh, I've got the hoodie. I've got the jacket. I got the knit cap. This is just an undershirt, essentially. This is
I'll tell you what, it's so bad walking.
New
around.
Jersey. Yeah, the wind is terrible. I haven't been walking. So we got Mike Trout, Yogi. We got, I can't really see. I know Jeter's on there. Todd Frazier's on there. So yeah. Little Jersey baseball shirt.
Yogi, when you get to the fork in the road, take it.
Yogiism.
Actually, either way, actually went to his house.
Yankees reduced payroll. Okay, here it is. Yep.
Supposed to be warmer by the weekend. And next
Excuse me. It's going to be warmer this weekend.
in the 40s, and then weekend next week I think we get a 50. Malibu City.
Okay. The number I'm seeing for the Yankees reduced payroll is 316 to 291. I'm seeing
What does this thingamajig do?
316. I don't know. What is that?
It
Neville
sounds like Sean
Chamberlain?
Price.
I don't know what that is. I think they were talking about like a couple days ago. Sean didn't know who. I don't know who that is either. I don't know. They do a lot of things I have no idea about. Okay, yeah. So C. Ross in the chat says that the Yankees reduced their payroll from 310 to 239 this year. I'm seeing from Spot Track that they reduced it from 316
Eddie Zoo, when you hit me.
to 291. Frosty, appreciate you. Pam, appreciate you.
Good evening at 7 o'clock. This is Rich Ackerman. Spring training games are just a few days away, and the Yanks open Friday. Marcus Stroman will be in the first one on the mound, despite reporting a couple of days late to Tampa, while Carlos Mendoza tabbed Clay Holmes for the Mets opener on Saturday in Port St. Lucie. The Nets' Bojan Bogdanovic will undergo foot surgery, will not play a game this year for his new team, which is waiving him. Former 7th pick overall Killian Hayes has been signed to a 10-day contract. After beating some of the best in the Big East, St. John's will face the worst in the conference. The 10th-ranked Johnnies tip off against DePaul in Chicago, with the Blue Demons at 2-13 in the conference. The Johnnies end the night with wins in 11-12 and have a 2-game lead in the Big East. Rutgers' road trip through the Pacific Northwest started with a loss in Washington. They will try to, or I should say Oregon, they'll try to regroup in Seattle tonight when they face Washington. Coverage on the Fan will begin at 10:20. The support is sponsored by your local Miles dealer, and that's what's happening. I'm Rich. All right.
See you at 8.
You got it.
Call us anytime at 888-808-1019. 1019 FM and always live.
All right, let's get it. Tough. I got to remember to cut the beat down because YouTube be flagging me. Yeah, vibe switch. It's me. You probably already figured that out. Keep McPherson on the fan. Nighttime. Taking your calls at least till 10. Then Rutgers basketball will come your way. At some point, we will talk Knicks. We will talk NFL. We'll have eyes on St. John's at 9 p.m. But we started off talking about what else? The New York Yankees and how I've just kind of come around to, okay, it's been a week since pitchers and catchers reported and position players have reported, and you get that initial look at the team, and I'm like, oh, they're not done. And they don't have to be done. This is not the deadline. This is not the last time you can improve your team. And we're starting to hear all these little bumps and bruises and tweaks. And I, look at Cashman and I say, bro, if you just got mocked by the whole sport, if you just got talked down on by the Dodgers in their scouting report, if you have these aging superstars and this closing window and this fan base who is still healing from losing Juan Soto and losing that World Series, the only one that they've gotten to see in the last 15 years, you can't be done. You're not done. You're not done. We won't allow it. We won't accept it. So I look forward to the breaking news of whoever the Yankees trade for, or, whoever they potentially sign and bring in late here. There's still a couple guys left out there, and I just know that they cannot roll into this season relying on DJ LeMahieu, on Oswaldo Cabrera, Peraza, or they can't. They can't. There's too many guys banged up right now. I have no idea how they would actually, go into the season, because God forbid one of, these starters go down, which I don't even want to put anyone's name out there because we can't afford it. We have one injury during spring training games, and this whole thing looks different. On top of that, you are literally relying on so many variables. You are literally relying on so many question marks. Older guys to turn back the clock and younger guys to turn up their play and arrive as everyday major league ball players. It's too much unknown. You need some more solid of a foundation here, and I expect that to happen soon. 888-808-1019. Eric is in Rivervale, New Jersey, first up on the Fan. Good, man. Thanks for calling.
Discussion as a Jets fan here, but so I absolutely agree with everything you said in your open, and if Cashman is going to try and sell us that DJ LeMahieu is the DH for a Yankees team that is trying to get back to the World Series,
they'll boo him on opening day. They'll announce DJ LeMahieu, and there will be boos on opening day for a national audience. It's not happening.
No chance that happens. And I mean, I agree too. As far as the Dodgers, I mean, as much as I dislike, the Red Sox, I've hated them my whole life. They're nowhere close to the way I feel about the Dodgers right now. I mean, the rivalry to me is with the Dodgers. I can't stand the Dodgers. They've seemed to, and it's twofold. One, because they have the money, and two, because they seem, to have the cheat code and figured out how to work the system with all the deferrals. So, that team was going to get better with just players getting healthy before they made all the moves they've done in the offseason. So that team is going to be a beast for some time. And the Yankees and Cashman got to do something. I mean, DJ LeMahieu and Oswald Cabrera combined for, I think it was the third worst OPS at the position last year. I mean, DJ LeMahieu's WAR was in the negative, which I didn't think was possible. So, and the guy hasn't batted over 250 in like 5 years. So I just don't understand why that would even be in consideration. Like, I get it.
Yeah, $15 million. That's the only reason. $15 million is the only reason.
It's similar to the Mattingly thing, right? Like, we have a place in our hearts for him because he's deep.
Hell no, it's not similar to Don Mattingly. I understand where you're going, but it's not even close to that.
No, I understand. But the point being is that, you
Sure.
some hope is going to come and he's going to return to the guy he was 5 years ago, which is just not going to happen. But it'd be interesting to see, I think, with Arenado, considering how close he is with DJ LeMahieu. They pick up Arenado, which to me is where all my money's going. I can almost guarantee that he's going to be our third baseman at some point. I just hope he does it now, but sooner than later, because I agree. No reason to wait for the trade deadline.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Eric. And I just laughed because, I always say I wasn't old enough to remember one Don Mattingly at bat, but I've watched plenty of clips, and what I always marvel at, and it's funny because it plays into all the conversations we're having now. I'm like, damn, he played so many games. Who was in Yankee Stadium? We're all the fans. People like there were no fans. You could go to Yankee Stadium, do what you want, say what you want. That back then there were no fans. I don't know about that. But obviously he never won anything, and DJ never won anything. But Donnie is a different type of commodity in the Yankee universe than DJ. DJ had like 2 good years. And it's already been erased by the last like 3 years. We don't want to see it. Like, this is a team that got to the World Series last year. I don't want to hear it. Fans don't want to hear it. Fans are pissed off. And you mentioned the Dodgers. Like, I used to kind of like the Dodgers. Obviously, the Brooklyn Dodgers. I like their history. I like I said, I go out there to LA. I like their ballpark, the theme park of ballparks. When you walk up to Dodger Stadium, they got people with headsets. Like, Disneyland, and you go in there and they revamped the whole back of Dodger Stadium. I was there for the All-Star game. I used to really like Dodger Stadium and the Dodgers and not really think of them as anything. And now after this World Series, I can't stand to look at the Dodgers. Now, after seeing them pop up with all the news alerts this offseason, they signed another player and another player and another player and another player, and they defer this much money, and they're deferring money on Tommy Edmonds' contract. I'm just like, damn, they're not going away for a while. So in this window where Judge is 33 and Cole is 34 and Stanton is 35, and this is your time to win, they are standing in the way, but there's a chance that they get knocked out. I'm looking at the Red Sox still. I'm looking at the Orioles still. I'm looking at, I don't know, the Twins or the, I get it. I know the Twins, Guardians, Royals are non-factors because they're in the Central. But who knows what the Astros look like? They always figure something out. And word on the street is, the Rangers are going to be back to what they were a couple years ago. It is not a guarantee that the Yankees just cakewalk this. Like, I really hope we can lose the phrase cakewalk for the Yankees. It is a new season. This is a different team. They have to gel and come together. And right now, yeah, the roster overall is good. The bullpen looks strong. The rotation looks pretty strong. Clark will be fine. But I'm looking at this lineup and I'm like, this isn't good enough. This isn't strong enough. One injury to one of these hitters in the lineup and it's panic time. Jeff is in West Babylon on the Fan next. What's up, Jeff?
Hey Keith, long time listener, first time caller.
Thanks.
Yes, I wanted to. I agree with you. I don't think this is not smooth, but I don't want Arenado Keith. I'm tired of these old former MVPs, and we're trying to catch lightning in a bottle. We old at first base, we old at third base, we old in DH, we old everywhere. I mean, the Dodgers got younger, the Mets are getting younger. I want somebody young. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. Just to respond to that, we keep saying Arenado is old. I think Arenado is 32. And he's not like Josh Donaldson. He just turned 33. He's not like a Josh Donaldson. But I hear you with, bringing in Paul Goldschmidt at 37, a former MVP. And I just think, like, if they do get Arenado, he's better than what we have. I think he's like a 270 hitter right now. Like, if we put him in this lineup, like that changes this lineup, the bottom part of the lineup. Like, he would absolutely help. And I don't care about the contract at all. It's time to go for it. You will literally make so much money winning the World Series. That's why the Dodgers don't care, because they're selling all this extra World Series merch, having parades, selling more season tickets. Like, it's part of the biz.
I get it. Quick question, Keith. Remember in 2023 when Yankees was doing the rest roulette every day? They had somebody resting, and there was so much inconsistency in the lineup. And then when Soto came in 2024, Soto was like, he was young, and he was like, listen, I'm playing every day. I don't care about sitting. I want to play every day. So now that pushed Judge to play every day. Everybody started to play every day, and we had more consistency in the lineup. And that's why I think we got so far, because everybody wanted to play. So now that Soto's gone, do you think that they're gonna go back to sitting, because we got older with the. You think they're gonna go back to sitting somebody every day and go back to the inconsistency in the lineup? Anyway.
No. Thanks for the call, Jeff. No, I think that was more a product of just having a bunch of journeyman random guys that played a bunch of different positions. Like, they're putting Jake Bowers at first base, right field. They're putting Billy McKinney a bunch of places. They're putting IKF in multiple spots, right? They're putting Cabrera in multiple spots that year. Like, Ben Rortvedt was getting at bats. Was Aaron Hicks still on the team in 23 in the beginning of the year? I'm trying to think who else was here. It was just like it was a lot of bums, and like that was just a product of matchups and figuring out different things. Like, last year, you had it set. Like, Juan Soto and Judge have to play every day. Juan Soto and Judge have to bat in the first inning. This is different. I'm going back and looking at that roster. Like, yeah, Aaron Hicks was on that team. Estevan Florial, Franchi Cordero. Bro, remember watching Franchi Cordero? He ran into a couple of them. IKF, Jake Bowers, Oswald Peraza, Jose Trevino, Willie Calhoun. Remember Willie can bang? Hey, yo, that's crazy. Anyway, they're a long way from that. When you get Juan Soto and Judge, that is Bash Brothers. That is, Ruth and Gehrig. That is, the tandem where it's like, yeah, those guys play every single day and they're in the same spot every day. And you don't have to change the lineup as much. Do I expect them to go back to that this year? No. And that's another reason why I think they need to make another move. Because if you're going to be doing that, if we don't know how long it's going to take for Stanton's tennis elbow to get right. And at third base, I guess, with this competition between DJ Cabrera and Peraza, one of them could outright win it. But then are they going to rotate the DH spot? It's just weak sauce right now, bro. And I don't want to hear anything about Dom Smith. Like, this is the New York Yankees. This is a team that made it to the World Series last year. And it ain't that many days. It was 4 months ago. They need to run it right back up. And yes, I like the philosophy change to tighten up the screws on this thing and focus more on defense, run prevention, and, swing and miss and striking guys out. But at the same time, it's baseball, bro. And the Yankees, they always get to the end of the road and they don't have enough bats. They always get to the postseason and the bats go quiet. I need another guy that can hit. Lou is in the story on the Fan next. What's up, Lou?
Hey, Pete, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Everything is okay? The cat, the family, the wife?
Yeah, the cat is getting like super pushy. And I was telling my wife, like, I love the cat, but now she like thinks she owns me and like I work for her. She's just manipulative. Like, yeah, it's like,
Well, I had to get rid of it. The same thing as that. And
well, I'm not gonna get rid of her, but I just find her manner now is like so pushy. She like, if I'm on the couch with my phone in my hand, she'll knock the phone out of my hand to lay on me. When I get up and start moving in the morning, she's meowing at me to get her treats. I'm like, bro, I don't work for you. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, believe me, very passionate. I can tell you that right now. But anyway, going to the Yankees, I heard that your best player in baseball wants to go play for the WBC now.
Yeah, Judge is interested. 2026.
So that. Now I gotta beat the stage with you. I know that I'm gonna make the two best players that you like the most, and I think one of them, as you say, is the greatest player that you ever seen play. And George, I understand in the regular season.
Yeah, I said it's hard for me to call him that, Lou. After another failed postseason, it's hard to say that Judge is the greatest player I've ever seen.
Charles said it. I mean, I don't know if you change your mind, but anyway.
And we've been forced to. In the regular season, he was having one of the greatest right-handed hitting regular seasons we've ever seen, and then he was swinging out of his shoes, striking out in the postseason. So you can't. There's no argument to say he's one of the best ever. Like,
8 times in a row. To me, I mean, you got to make contact once in a while. But anyway, let me say something about this one. Juan Soto and George, the communication and all this. The problem here is that, he said that he went to the Mets because they got a better chance to get a championship. The problem here is that someone wanted much money, and George is not very happy right now because he not only did he get half the money that Soto got, but he didn't get a sweep, okay? That has to be in his mind. This guy, Soto was getting actually $800 million when you calculate everything. Lost the sweep, okay? And now let me ask you something. Another player that you love a lot. Remember when Derek Jeter became a free agent? You remember that time?
yeah.
$1 billion. Go out there. Whoever matches that will give you more. We match that. And nobody did. Let me ask.
Yeah, we almost got Hanram. We almost got Hanley Ramirez.
Because I think it's about the money. Like I've been telling you all along. If Derek Jeter, the Buster Red Sox, would have said, here's the $20 million that you'll be asking for, you think he would not think about that after the animosity of how much he hated the GM?
It's something to think about. I think Cashman's got beef with a lot of different players. Like,
with George, you know what I'm saying?
no, I know. I've cited Bernie.
I believe that we need to make contact. They don't strike out 100 times a year like everybody else, swing and miss, and that's the move that you would have made. If we wouldn't have the owner here, former owner, he would do the same thing the Dodgers are doing because the Dodgers not doing anything illegal. He would not let anybody be ahead of him. Just take care, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good. Like, I know you guys love to say what George would have done. May he rest, you know. But at the same time, it's a different game now. At the same time, there are different players in this game now. It's completely different than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And yeah, going back to what I said, like I understand Cashman though. Like I understand what he does. He tries to remove emotion. He tries to look at these players as assets and not overspend for guys, but you kind of gotta overspend to land guys, and he might ruffle some feathers with guys like Jeter. And there's even former players that he's kind of rubbed the wrong way that don't want to go to Yankee camp. Shout out to Didi Gregorius. Didi Gregorius showed up today at Yankee camp. He's got his camera. He grew his locks out. They should, check with him and see what his availability is. He's not that old. Maybe he can play third base. Maybe he can be another left-handed bat now that we have left-handed bats. Remember when Cashman didn't have enough left-handed bats for the Yankees? 888-808-1019. You said something interesting, man, about Judge. A few things. Obviously, his interest in playing in the World Baseball Classic. Probably, Trout probably going to be out. I saw Disha, shout out to Disha. She said Aaron Judge said he's open to playing in the 2026 WBC. If he does, this would be his first time. Judge said, I think that'd be pretty fun. It'd be cool to represent our country. Team USA made it to the finals, but they didn't win it. So we got to win it. We'll see. I kind of worry about Judge in that setting. One, because it's before the season. He'll be, another year older next year. He'll be 34. Can't afford to lose Judge to a tweak, being spring beat up in the WBC. And then I also worry about him because that is postseason-like intensity. And as I just said, he's the best player I've ever been able to watch. I have seen, I don't know how many home runs hit out of Yankee Stadium live where Judge is batting and you feel it's about to happen and he does it. But you can't say that he's the greatest of all time. You can't say he's the best baseball player you've ever seen when you've seen him fail time after time after time after time after time in October. 888-808-1019. I said, and congrats to him on the birth of his first child. I said, failing at the highest level, which is the World Series, there is no Galaxy Series. There is no Universe Series. He failed in front of the world. Failing and dropping that pop-up and having that experience and then being mocked by the Dodgers and then watching Soto, who you had the whole crown shirt handshake every time you guys did something cool together, thought that was your boy. For that guy to change his number on you, skip town, for the Yankees to offer him almost double what they offered you, right? It was a lot harder for you to get that money off the Yankees. The Yankees were willing to give him way more years, way more money, higher AAV than you by a lot, and he's not a better right fielder than you. It kind of makes you feel some type of way. I hope Judge takes it out on the world and saves his best for last in October. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the Fan. I'll be right back. Let me see something. He mentioned Bregman and Tucker. Wasn't signing them, and they weren't trading them. I'm going to go back to that when we come back from break. Shout out to the chat. Chat strong. Where you at? Where you watching from? Let's see what we got here. I tried to say what's up to everybody before. Ryan Cassidy, appreciate you pulling up. Ben, appreciate you pulling up. Pam, appreciate your optimism. The Yankees have a good roster overall, but right now they have an incomplete lineup. Frosty said this, I will not speak these words, but God forbid. If this happens, we have another 82 and 80 coming, yo. If this happens, get ready for another 2023. Love the shirt. Appreciate it. Jersey, we outside. Jersey, we repping. Jersey. They say Jersey Slugger. Jersey Slugger. Shout out to State Jersey Co. Sending the care package. People show me big love. I get a lot of free clothes, a lot of free merch. They know I'm a rocket. They know I'm going to wear it. I think that Cody Bellinger will be great for the Yankees. I think he can be too. I think he can be too. I think it's a dream come true for the guy. I think that his swing is built for that stadium. I like his attitude and mentality about play me anywhere, bat me anywhere. Dario Davis right back at it, locked in. Appreciate you. From Long Island, but live in Florida now. Okay, well, you're watching. I'm live here in New York. Hopefully it makes you feel a little bit more at home. Shout out to everybody watching on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Starting to do these a lot more now, and I think it's just a solid thing to add to my show. It just gives people the opportunity at night that are home, done with work, done working out, done with school. If they're stationary, it's like, hey, like right now, I'm trying to find something to watch. Like I'm watching, what the hell is this? Team Harrison versus Segrist. It's like women's basketball. There's nothing on TV right now. We're in this like dead period for sports. There's nothing. It's like now, like, what is this on MSG? Toronto versus New York women's hockey. They're in Prudential Center. I can't get jiggy with this, bruh. There's nothing on TV. Granted, I got to host a radio show. So, but what I'm saying is, if there's nothing on TV for you to watch, you can watch my show instead of just listening. I had somebody send me a great pic, right? Love that. The stream yesterday, they had the little one watching. They put it up on their TV in the living room, had little man watching. Start them young. Put them on. Put them on. Yeah. Got hella DMs. People be abusing the DM. And like, I used to have my DMs off and I opened them back up, but I'm thinking about closing them again. Just like send me an email. If you really got something to say, send me an email. Because people abuse the DMs. People send me too many reels. People send me too many memes. People just want to talk all day. I'm like, bro, what are we talking about? Like, I got a whole kid to take care of. I got a whole cat to take care of. I got a whole show to take care of. I got a whole wife to take care of. I got a whole house to take care of. Like every time I open my phone, it's like DMs from so many random people. I'm like, I'll get to it eventually. Or I won't. All right, I watch MLB Network in here. What's this? Back in the Garden State, not sure. I'm having a buy a bag every time in stores. Oh, please sack. Please sack and NLG on MLB Network. MLB Network is moving from Sea Caucus to Elmwood Park, I saw. What else we got here, man? Yeah, I did want to come back to this payroll conversation as well. Let's see what the calls say here. Full rack of calls. The Yanks need to care more about winning. The Soto effect. Mistake not signing Bregman. Dodgers have been building this for a long time. We know. This didn't happen overnight. We know. Who's this? Jordan Romano? Jordan Romano with the Phillies on MLB Network. So I got this show tonight. Let me check the schedule again. I don't even know what time. I didn't know that this show started at 6:30 till 6 o'clock. I was like, oh, I should leave. I should probably go there. But I live close. I think this show tonight ends. Started at 6:30. I think it ends by 10. I don't even know how to check. I gotta click here. Continue listening. I guess it's 10. I think the Rutgers pregame starts at that time. But yeah, we will also mix in some Mets conversation as well. Jose Quintana. Yeah, Jose Quintana could be coming back. Oh, excuse me. And I say do it because, again, I go back to it wasn't that long ago. It's bringing the band back together, bringing back another piece from last year. So, yeah, I'll mix in a couple of those things and I'll take some calls as well. Any questions you have in the chat? What's been cool about doing this live is that I've been able to take some of the chat questions. I didn't hit my second caffeine because I'm done at 10. I'm gonna go home and go to sleep. But what's been cool about having the chat is that if you can't call, you can hit the chat and you can hit the chat and I can answer your question here. I don't know this beat. It's a zoo-wop beat. Zoo-wop, what's this beat? Yeah, I don't rock with Franco shit. I see what you did there. The Mets plans are a little lost too. Let's talk a little Mets, sprinkle a little LFGM in here. Frankie Montas. The LFGM is the F is for Frankie. I don't think that makes sense. Frankie Montas spoke though. He wants to have a better second impression. He's optimistic that he can, and he's frustrated about his first impression with the Mets, especially after coming out there saying that, any day we could be throwing 5 aces and womp, womp, womp. He shut down. He said, I don't think anybody wants to start with a first impression like that. It's one of those things that's out of my control. I don't know about that, Frankie. Anyway, I prepared myself to pitch this winter. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And just try to go through this process and get stronger, get better. And he said, I don't want to even think about that as far as the PRP shot, like what, if that's going to do its job. I'm already feeling better. A lot of the inflammation is gone. So we are definitely moving in the right direction. And yeah, he says, the lad is definitely separate. I'm really happy with where my shoulder is. It's really good. Just got to try to stay positive, try to go through the rehab process. I still have months to pitch. So just try to help the team. It's definitely frustrating because I was feeling really good over the winter. And I think you can see Frankie Montas after the All-Star break. But maybe if you can't get Jose Iglesias back, you can go and get Jose Quintana. Oh my glob. So Jose Quintana could be heading towards a reunion. And what I've said about the Mets, same thing talking about the Yankees, the season was 4 months ago. It was not that long ago. What I love about baseball is the offseason is short. The season is so long, you snap your fingers and we're right back to spring training. And a lot of the vibes can kind of come back together. As I see Joel Sherman reported, Clay Holmes will start the Mets spring opener on Saturday. I'll be tuned in. I'll be watching Prey Holmes. And now he's not Prey Holmes. Now you don't have to worry as much when he's starting the game. You never know. Yeah, if he gives up a couple bombs in the first inning. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. He hasn't done that in a while. It's gonna be great. I think that's another great story. That's like a low key dynamic between Mets and Yankee fans. All the back and forth. Like we are not talking about what Clay is gonna be. Yankee fans are going to be rooting for y'all to get the worst Clay Holmes experience. Yeah.
Multiple times as a closer into the bullpen to work in a middle relief situation. Like, I mean, I don't understand how this isn't going on right now in Mets camp. I don't know how they're trying to prevent the inevitable with Clay Holmes. I feel like it is inevitable too. Like, he's not going to be able to make it however many 30, 25, 20 starts this year. I don't think he's going to be able to do it and be able to give you quality production. Like, I don't think, you know what, he might be able to go out there and be an opener, a glorified opener, and give you 4 innings.
Yeah.
Actually give me 6. And when it comes to the playoffs, I know, listen, the Dodgers did it with makeshift and whatever they did.
Bullpen games.
And all-stars in their bullpen.
Yeah, their bullpen is tough now, too. I don't know. And I look at it like this as well. With Frankie Montas going down, and they almost have to try and bring Jose Quintana back. Again, I say it's another piece from the magical run that you had to the NLCS last year, getting the band back together. It doesn't hurt to bring another guy back. That was part of the vibes. And with Kodai Senga needing extra rest and Kodai Senga not pitching at all last year, like I don't know, it's worrisome. Like just Clay Holmes, you don't know if he's going to be relegated to the bullpen. I feel like at some point sooner rather than later, Kodai Senga could be one pitch away from being hurt. Then like he needs the extra day of rest. That's why they suggested the 6-man rotation. You can't do that now with Montas down. Griffin Canning might be batting practice. Paul Blackburn, all right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We none of us know. But you know what? It is imperative for the Mets to get out to a hot start this year. They cannot have a repeat of last year because, like, one, you have the owner challenging fans to come out. So what if the fans do come out, right? There are going to be fans in there that if they're coming out, they're spending their money. It's cold. They're freezing their ass off. It's windy. It's raining. Like, and they're not performing. The vibe, right? As Steve Cohen thinks, it's a blast. The ballpark presentation and all this stuff. Yeah, it's not a blast if you lose and the fans start to turn because they're like, hey, you challenged us to come out. We spent $200 on these tickets and the team's not performing because, we're down 3-0 in the second inning with Clay Holmes on the mound or Tyler McGill on the mound. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Canning in week 2 of April. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh my God, like we all saw this coming. How did we set ourselves up for this? If you get to that point, that's when the fans will start being pissed and they'll be like last year. But it's not, I don't think it's going to get to that point because I really do think that the Montas injury in particular is going to force them to have to do something. Whereas before, I don't think they were going to. I think they were going to just roll it out there and see what happens. But at least now with Montas being hurt, you know what? If Clay Holmes goes out there and starts 5-6 games to start the year to just get you through May and get Montas back in that rotation so you can have that option of going to 6-man and whatnot, fine. But Clay Holmes can't be a starter all year. And now they'll finally have the option to, like you said, get a guy like Quintana who is reliable. And when you put him out there, you will eventually get to a point where you say, okay, this guy has to stay in this rotation for the rest of the season. Because that's the type of pitcher he is. He's Mr. Consistent. I know he had a tough little run of it early last year, but he is Mr.
Yeah, when he started to figure it out, and he was good. He's a veteran, 13 years in the league. I read that the Rangers and Padres are also interested in him. So I don't see why they get that done. Also, sometimes the pitching can be, the pitching can be ahead of the hitting. This is New York. Talking about it being cold here, it's hard to go out there and swing that bat and be warmed up and be loose. Not to throw Lindor under the bus because he had a great year last year, but historically he has started slow. If he starts slow and then God forbid Soto has a tough time, I don't think Soto's going to have a tough time. I'm not going to say that. Soto is automatic all the time. But like, what about Pete? What if Pete is struggling early? What if Vientos doesn't have it right away? This will be Vientos' first opening day with the big club. Like, there are variables in Queens as well where it's like, hey, if this doesn't come out of the gate on fire, we'll be here on the Fan talking about it. 888-808-1019. I got to take another call. Michael in Stony Brook, you got it. You're on.
What's up, sir? How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I think there's a better chance than not that Yankee doesn't make any contribution this year. I mean, as you said earlier, it's been over 4 months, and now he's got 2 bad elbows. So Yankees knowing this, how did they not sign Bregman? It would have been perfect.
Yeah, they were never gonna give Bregman that money. They don't like him. They don't like how he projects in Yankee Stadium, and they weren't gonna spend that 40 mil that it took for the Red Sox to get him in year one, and the Red Sox deferred some money, and the Yankees weren't gonna do it. I know they checked on him, right? Reportedly, they checked on him, but I don't think it was realistic. Their main pivot after Soto was Max Fried, and I just don't think they looked at Bregman as a fit and being worth it for what he is. He's a pull hitter. He had the Crawford boxes. He goes from the Crawford boxes to the Green Monster. Left field in Yankee Stadium is pretty deep, and him being part of the cheating Astros, it's like, yeah, people are over it, but they don't forget.
Good point. When you think about, I mean, how much Cashman did over the years.
Oh, Cashman won't let anybody forget. He makes sure to correct everybody when they say, well, you had a 14-year drought. He said, well, we don't know what would have happened in 2017.
Right. Yeah, you made a very good point. I didn't think about that aspect.
Yeah, but I mean, take that away. Sure, Bregman's glove, Bregman's bat, and then especially what you're hearing about the drama in Boston. Thanks for the call, Michael. Devers. What would you do, Rafael, if they say you got a DH or play first base? No. My position is third base. I play third base. Tristan Casas coming out. Yeah, I think Devers should be our third baseman. Yeah, I know he boots routine ground balls, but I think he's getting better. He's not, no matter how much better he gets, he's not going to be better at third base than Bregman. I love it. The Red Sox are clowned out right now with what they got going on. I didn't catch what Bregman had to say. He met the media, but I think Bregman he's just chilling. He's got the money. He's got a new team. He's one of the last to leave the cheating Astros, and he's reunited with Alex Cora. And he's cool if they want him to play second. He's cool if they want him to DH. He's like, whatever. I'm making 40 million. I'm making judge money this year. Talk to me. Boris won. Low key, Boris was able to finesse 30 million for Alonso this year, 40 million for Bregman this year. Doesn't make any sense. But Lou and Astoria also mentioned Bregman. He was never going to be a Yankee for so many factors. Also, Kyle Tucker, Lou mentioned, and I wanted to respond to that. He also wasn't going to be a Yankee. The Astros were not going to trade Kyle Tucker to the Yankees. Not for Luis Hill, not for anything. They would not give you one of their best players an all-star. There's beef there. And it goes back to the same thing with Bregman. Crane and Hubie Brown, not Hubie Brown. What's Dana Brown? Hubie Brown is I hate that I have sports brain like that. Hubie Brown is the announcer. Dana Brown is the GM of the Astros. I've done that so many times. I remember I mixed up like Cam Payne and Deron Payne. Somebody else. When you watch all the sports and you have all these names in your head, it's so easy to be like, yeah. Hubie Brown would have never traded Kyle Tucker to the Yankees.
Tucker for nothing.
Hubie Brown would have said, whatever you want. Sure. He would have traded him for a full season ticket plan in Legends. 888-808-1019. Kyle Tucker was not going to be a Yankee either. They just weren't going to do that. He's in Chicago, and Chicago already took him to arbitration, so he'll be one and done there. Maybe the Yankees can win him in free agency. When we come back, we'll talk about another free agent that'll be in the same class with Kyle Tucker. Steve Phillips from MLB Network Radio spoke about this today, and I was like Devers. I was like, no. Keith McPherson on the Fan. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to send you this clip from Steve Phillips. So right now I'm sending my producer, Big Zoo, the audio clip today of Steve Phillips saying that, like, Vladdy's going to be a Yankee. I disagree. All right. Steve Phillips on Vladdy to the Yankees. Okay, Alex Cora talking.
It's nice to Probably our third guy done. They were very thoughtful and what they wanted to say and their opinions. And I don't know, I played with Kurt, right? And he was very thoughtful. He was very, say his thing, right? People will express what they feel. Some people are going to agree, other people are not going to agree, some people are going to like it.
Back to the chat though.
At the end, the baseman, you're going to play.
You knew you is basically what Alex Cora is saying there. That's the latest from Red Sox camp surrounding how this.
Like, I can't wait till the season starts and Devers is trash. Like, right now they're lining up.
Alex Bregman second, Rafael Devers at third, but of course, there's been plenty of drama coming out the last few days, so that got us to thinking.
They're lining up Bregman at second. I can't wait till Devers is trash. MLB Network. This made me laugh. Never mind. I won't even say what I was thinking right there. I just got too many things in my head. I can't wait till Devers is booting ground balls and making wild throws, and they're forced to play Bregman at third, and he's forced to DH, and he's got to deal with it. They should have the Netflix special for this year. Okay, let's see. Yanks trade Nolan. He helps with third base with DH due to his inevitable Stanton injury. Nice watch. This is Oris. Shout out to the Oris gang. This is a Roberto Clemente. Let me see if I can show y'all. That's Roberto Clemente. I'd have to take this off, and I don't want to do that. But this is the whole thing with the watch. It's a Roberto Clemente special edition watch. This is one of 3,000 that were made, gifted to me by the good folks at Oris. And we had a caller yesterday mention Oris because Aaron Boone, what's up, Dan? Right. Thanks, man. Aaron Boone always has an Oris watch on. And I said, yeah, I'm part of that same community. I'm part of that same Oris watch gang. But what they fit Boone up with, crazy. And I mean, Boone's got money, so Boone probably buys some too. They've sent me 2 for free. I've bought 1. I probably got to buy another one to get another one for free, which I will. But like I was saying last night, their watches are like $3,000-$4,000 to start. I would trade for Nolan Arenado. I just don't think that they're interested. Everything keeps saying that they're not, but we can dream. They just all reports. Thanks you. All reports say that they're out on Arenado. They're not interested. There's no conversations. But I think that can change. I think the Cardinals got to be interested. They can't really want to pay him. So, Keith, why Juan Soto is not talking to Judge anymore? Because he's fake. Because he was never really a friend. They were just coworkers. They were just teammates. He was never really trying to connect with him on a human level like that. It's obvious, and that's okay because now they're rivals. They're enemies now. Keith, if it were up to you, would you pick up next off season Kyle Tucker or Vlad? We're gonna talk about that when we come back. Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker. You can move Belly to first base. You could get Munetaka Murakami. Kyle Tucker was the dream this year because fans were so hurt losing Soto. You got the email, right? It's just a clip from Steve Phillips on MLB Network talking about Vladdy. We'll come back. We'll play that, and then that'll lead us in the conversation around Soto, around Kyle Tucker, and I'll take these calls on Soto and the Yankees. Yeah, I don't think Vladdy will be a Yankee. He's whack. He's super whack, bro. Let me I want to search my page because I'm always hating on Yankee. I'm always hating on Vladdy because he's always hating on the Yankees. Let me see here. It's funny, bro. I just like I search my own name and I find how many people be tweeting about me that I don't even see. Like, yo, that's how funny like Twitter works now. Like people be tweeting at you, and if you get a lot of tweets, you don't even see them. But then I search my name on Twitter, and I'm like, oh well. Still just act like I didn't see. And then that's another thing too. People will have me blocked, and I'm like, Twitter is hilarious, bro. All right, here we go. We're going back to the show now. Okay. Like 9 minutes left until the next break. Time already flying by. It'll be 8 o'clock soon. Keith McPherson on the Fan. I wanted to play a little audio clip from Steve Phillips on MLB Network Radio. Shout out to Steve Phillips. I haven't met him, but he works with my guy Xavier Scruggs, and X is my guy. I appreciate X. And this came across my timeline earlier today. I think some of Yankees Twitter reacted to it. So Zoo, let's play it, and then we'll go from there. Talking about Vladdy.
Him, short of Soto money, and in the end, they'll have Vladdy and Judge in the middle of the lineup instead of Soto and Judge, and they'll end up having spent less money, and they'll end up being a great team moving forward, and they'll be the best of the American League for years. And so I think Vladdy's a Yankee moving forward.
Woo! Yeah, Steve. Talk that talk, Steve. I don't see it. I don't see it. I just can't really buy into the Vladdy talk. For years, Vladdy has gone out of his way to talk down on the Yankees. He's gone out of his way to mention the Yankees in a negative light. I think he said he wouldn't sign with the Yankees. He loves to kill the Yankees. What team do you love to beat? The Yankees, the Yankees, the Yankees, which is just like a one-sided beef. And now with him not extending in Toronto, and obviously Steve Cohen existing, who spoke on him yesterday, it's just obvious that we're going to get to the point where Vladdy hits free agency and the Mets are bidding on him. And I don't even think the Yankees are going to try and do that dance again. They're not going to compete with Steve Cohen for Vladdy, a player who said he didn't want to be here. I think their eyes will probably be set on Munetaka Murakami if he doesn't just automatically join his World Baseball Classic teammates in Japan. But now that Steve Cohen is giving out luxury suites, premium tickets, clothing allowances, security details, and all of these things on top of $805 million contracts, why wouldn't every possible free agent try and hit free agency just to get a conversation with Steve Cohen? 888-808-1019. Jim Bowden wrote, the Juan Soto deal changed everything in the Vladimir Guerrero negotiations and practically gave them no chance of getting a deal before he reaches free agency. As he heads to free agency, the Yankees, Red Sox, and Mets could all be in play with the Blue Jays for the game's next biggest free agent bidding battle. Like with Juan Soto, everybody knew that, the Toronto Blue Jays were willing to offer Juan Soto $700 million. And there was also reports that if they got another chance to bid, that maybe they would have, tried to match Steve Cohen's bid. So Vladdy knowing that, and Vladdy being friends with Juan, there was a report that I read today that Vladdy even came down on his numbers and they would not budge. So I think he's good as gone. He'll hit free agency. I don't expect him to be a Yankee. It'll be him and Kyle Tucker at the top of the free agent market next year. And maybe the Yankees go after Kyle Tucker. Joe is in Ho-Ho-Coos, if I'm saying that correctly, Joe. You're back on the fan.
Steve, what's up? Great intro as per usual. I just want to say you showed a lot of class, and you want to use the word class because of that loser yesterday. I'm surprised you gave him a second chance. But anyway, you always talk about branding with the Yankees, and I agree. The Mets, I'm a Mets fan. The Mets fan will always be little brother until further notice. And the Yankees I wonder if the Yankees have cared so much about the brand, if they've lost their way, where they just care about selling seats at this point, bro. Because you clearly have a hole at third base, and you called it. At some point, they were going to need Stroman. Now you got these pitchers hurt with, Clark Schmidt and Chase Hampton. You need Stroman now. You definitely need to do the fifth inning, and you still need that third base. And the forecasts were, well, we need to clear 18 mil. We need to clear 18 mil. Okay, what now? Is it just about the brand, or are you trying to win? So, trying to tie in together where I know you don't like the Mets and Yankee comparisons. I feel like if it was my owner, Steve Cohen, he'd go get that final piece, bro. I think, that's why it's a good time to be a Mets fan. And if I could comment on the Vladimir Guerrero instance, there's a lot of rumors where, kind of like Griffey, where I don't think Vladimir is going to be a Yankee just because it's similar to Griffey. Griffey always said he'll never play for the Yankees because he was upset about his dad. I think there was rumors around in 2003, I forget what year, that Vladimir was interested in signing with the Yankees, but the Yankees actually signed Gary Sheffield. So he always said it's a family thing. So it's kind of similar with Griffey, where he always said it's a family thing, that he'll never play for the Yankees. I think Vlad will flirt with the Yankees just to bring the price up, but I don't think he's signing with the Yankees. I know you said that.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be Yankees for clicks. I think Steve Phillips' take was a Yankees for clicks take in itself today, saying that he's going to be a Yankee. But yeah, I do faintly remember, Vladimir Guerrero Sr. and, before he went to the Angels, that whole story. Obviously, we were younger, but I think that story has come up recently. And there was a recent story with Vlad where he says his goal is to win a World Series and give the ring to his dad. So, he probably plays the game for his father, who put the bat in his hand, who, brought him on the field and brought him up. I don't know. I think he's more inclined to be a Met. But then going back to what you said about Steve Cohen and the Mets, yes, Steve Cohen is overextending, spending his own money because he does have to do that. The Yankees turn much more of a profit than the Mets do, and they're not going out there and spending that much money. Earlier in the show, I said I had a report that the Yankees lowered their payroll. Spotrac approximated that they've dropped $25 million from 2024 to 2025. They have the Yankees going from $316 million to $291 million. So, it's obvious that the Yankees, after their highest earning year going to the World Series, they're not turning around and saying, oh, we got money to blow. Hal Steinbrenner told you we have more financial flexibility than ever as far as going after Juan Soto. But they miss out on Juan Soto, and they didn't go spending go ahead.
I got you. So, Keith, this just leads to my final question. You clearly have a need at third base. The whole thing was, we need to clear 18 mil. We need to clear 18 mil. So why? And it's only been a day, fair enough. But why aren't the Yankees trying to get a third baseman now? What is Cashman still going to tell the fans, we need to clear 18 mil? You make the most money in baseball, right? You and the Dodgers are up there. So why aren't they spending more money if you're making the most money? Keith, that's my question to you. Is it just about the brand, or do you care about the winning? Or do the owners care about? I know the fans care about the winning, but does the owner still care as much about winning? I guess is my question to you, Keith.
Yeah, of course they care about winning, but they're going to try and play the game in the parameters of the rules of the game. Thanks for the call, Joe. I just, and I don't know how much Cashman was talking about clearing the 18 million. I don't remember that direct quote coming from his mouth anywhere, but we obviously could connect the dots that, okay, Marcus Stroman is making this much money and he's a depth piece for you that, might not even see the mound, it's a waste of funds. But then I go back to what I've been saying all week. Asset allocation. The Yankees make moves that stop them from making other moves. Like, that's not on us. Like, figure that out. 888-808-1019. That shouldn't stop you. And I don't know if they go after Nolan Arenado. I don't know if, but like I said today when I opened, this can't be it. This is not it. They're not going to go into opening day. Yeah, okay. Aaron Boone's got a new contract for the next 5 years, and then they go on opening day. At DH, DJ LeMahieu, boo! Like they can't do that. All right, we got to go to the break and the update. KM on the Fan. I'll be back after this. Yeah, I don't know if I'm trying to find, because this caller just said, Cashman kept saying, we got to clear 18 million. We got to clear. I'm like, I don't remember him specifically saying we got to clear 18 million. That's fans saying that they got to clear 18 million with Stroman. He hasn't expressed that. He hasn't come out to be like, we got to clear the 18 million. There's no quote from him saying we got to clear that 18 million.
Not that I know.
Yeah, I was trying to find an article with that. There's no quote of that. Everything that comes up, it actually had quotes of Cashman saying we let Stroman down, and Stroman is a competitor, and they expect him but Cashman wrote that contract. Cashman gave him that contract, extended that deal to him last year. I just don't understand how they're in a spot now where that is prohibiting them from filling the other holes on the team. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, hey, you got to have some vision down the road to know this is coming, this is happening.
Yep. Did you see the kid from Texas A&M?
That hit those home runs.
Wow, Jaden Agassi. Holy thing.
Andre Agassi's kid.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Jay Slaviola, he's pretty damn good. Good evening at 8 o'clock. This is Rich Ackerman. Marcus Stroman's absence to start the spring hasn't affected his status as he's been tabbed by Aaron Boone to start Friday's exhibition opener. Stroman missed the first 2 days of workouts after being the subject of trade speculation during the offseason. Ex-Yankee Clay Holmes gets the nod for the Mets opener on Saturday in Port St. Lucie as he makes the transformation from reliever to starter. St. John's looks to move closer to clinching the Big East regular season title. The Red Storm are on the road tonight at the Paul. After beating 3 ranked teams in a 12-day stretch, the Johnnies now get the Blue Demons, who share the Big East cellar with Seton Hall. Rutgers looks to bounce back from a loss at Oregon. The Scarlet Knights continue their road trip tonight in Washington. Coverage on the Fan will begin at 10:20. Bojan Bogdanovic is yet to play for the Nets and won't this year as he'll undergo surgery on his foot that will end his season. Killian Hayes was signed to a 10-day contract. And the NFL returning to Brazil for opening weekend in 2025 with the Chargers facing an opponent to be determined on Friday, September 5th. And that's what's happening. I'm Rich. All right, I'll see you manana.
All right, get home safe. Stay warm.
Yes. The good thing is you turn on that thing on the app on your car with the weather, with the temperature in the car. By the time you get to the parking lot, the car's all warm.
You got a nice new fancy car. Yeah, hell yeah. I still got 2 hours, man. Let's get it. Talking baseball. What else? Middle of February. NBA All-Star break still on. 4 Nations face-off not on till tomorrow. And we're doing what baseball fans do. We're calling the fan. We're talking about all the little injuries and things and holes with the team and what's going to be and what isn't going to be with the Mets and the Yankees. And, I just was trying to go and find the quotes from Cashman because our last caller, Joe, was saying that Cashman was saying, we got to clear 18 million. He didn't say that. That it's a difference between fans calling the fan and fans going online saying that the Yankees won't make a move until they clear the 18 million from Marcus Stroman. That is fans connecting the dots. If anything, Cashman came out and said, we let Marcus Stroman down. What you're seeing now is vintage Stroh. He's a competitor. That's what they expect out of him. And again, Cashman is the one that went to this man's house last year and went to get him. After not going to get Blake Snell, after not going to get Jordan Montgomery, Cashman, Boone, they went to Marcus Stroman's place in Tampa, and they kicked him this contract for $37 million with a vesting option for next year where he can make another $18 million if he pitches 40 million, if he pitches 140 innings this year. So that's why Stroman isn't going to fold. That's why Stroman isn't going to just lay down and say, yeah, I'm a team player. Whatever you want. I'll completely give up my shot to make $18 million next year. I won't even attempt to. He's healthy. He's prepared. He's had an interesting offseason, losing his Malibu home. He's going to be your starter on Friday when the Yankees face the Rays, and maybe that is a trade chip. Maybe there's something down the line. And then going back to what Joe was saying as well about the Yankees brand, Joe, it just doesn't make sense for you to say that the Yankees are resting on selling tickets. I opened up the show tonight saying that they sell tickets by having players that are so famous they don't need names on the back of their jerseys. That's the whole thing. You're showing up to see stars play in the Bronx. Brian Cashman himself said he wants the Bronx to be the mecca of baseball. Not with DJ at DH, not with Cabrera at third base, not with a lineup of guys that we don't know what they're going to be. Guys that we're expecting to rise, guys that we're expecting to turn back the clock. There's too many variables. So in my mind, I'm just like, oh, they're not done. They're definitely not done. They're not done. There's going to be another bat. There's going to be another ad. Live on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I've been streaming my shows with a video component. It's been receiving a good response. So Brian is in the chat. And before we were talking about the Mets and the Mets potentially starting slow with the weather or just going back to them starting slow last year. And I know it was a completely different team, but like this is baseball. We've seen teams like the Nationals with Juan Soto have a slow start out the gate, then turn it on and go win the World Series. It could happen, but the Mets can't afford that. So Brian writes in the chat, Soto apparently doesn't let the hitless game from the night before rent space like other humans do. Put a, stop there. That's what I told you about watching him with the Yankees. This guy will not go back-to-back games without impacting the game and series with his bat. If he has a game that it does not seem very Soto-like, he shows up the next day for batting practice, and he will affect the game. I think he is slow-proof. I think he is cold-proof. I think he is early season proof. I think he's going to be there with the Soto shuffle and the stares and the looks at the umpire, at the opposing pitcher. You don't have to worry about him. So Brian goes on to say, that being said, he will be the spark that these slow start Mets will need to get the machine in motion and steamroll the whole league. And then he says, oh, wait, Soto is also going to be every pitcher's target, like they are at the range hunting the guy scooping golf balls 250 yards out. Like, yeah, every pitcher is going to be circling him as well and saying, I can't let Soto beat me. I can't let Soto hit a home run in the first inning or the second. I can't let him be the difference. I'll walk him. See if Pete is ready. And then we saw Mendoza say today that he plans to, obviously bat Lindor 1 and Soto 2. But we had some fun when Pete Alonso signed for a week talking about where they're going to bat Pete. And all like it's obvious. Soto 2 and Lindor 1. Mike is in Sayreville next on the Fan. Hello, Mike. You ready? You got it. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, sir.
Soto left the Yankees, which I'm very disappointed. But I think he was a National League guy and wanting to go back to the National League. I haven't heard anybody on the Fan mention that, but I think it's interesting. What do you think?
When you say National League guy, you mean just competing against National League teams and in those ballparks? Because now there's a universal DH. Now there's a balanced schedule. The league is more, it's not so much American League, National League anymore. But maybe there's something to it. You tell me more what you think.
No, that he was always. I know now it's almost they're both. It's the same league, but I'm thinking Padres, Washington. I'm thinking he's more of a National League guy. Maybe that was a deciding factor. But just something to think about.
Maybe I'll give it a 3%. Thanks for the call, Mike. He had no choice but to be a Washington National. He had no choice but to be a San Diego Padre. He had no choice but to be a Yankee. He chose the highest bidder. He went to the team with the highest offer and then proceeded to listen to Scott Boras and other people come up with all these other things why the money was appealing. Just say the money like is the highest bidder. Like I'm waiting for that joke to get cracked. Like obviously I fought my whole career. I stayed neutral down the lane. I didn't get enticed by the Yankees. I didn't fall in love with the team that literally put me on and offered me 400. I turned down 440 million because I knew I could almost double that. I was always going to the highest bidder. I told you that when I homered in all 30 ballparks. They put a camera in front of me and I said, this is great for me going into free agency that I can say I homered in all 30 ballparks. I remember being on the air that night and I defended him because he was a Yankee and on my team. But I also said, hey, ain't nobody asked you that, bro. Nobody asked you about free agency. We're not talking about free agency right now. We haven't even got to the postseason. But it shows you where his head was at. He was always going to the highest bidder. I don't really think it was a National League thing. I don't think he was looking at the national, like I said, because now there's a universal DH. Now there's a balanced schedule. Everybody plays everybody. It isn't so much of that like National League difference than American League. 888-808-1019. Juan Soto was going to the richest owner in the sport. And when you hear Aaron Judge say that's where he wanted to be, he got to get a very close-up look by being in New York for a year. The Yankees trying to sway him and obviously filling one of their obvious holes, needing another star to go with Judge and a left-handed hitter like that. They went to go get arguably the best left-handed hitter in the game. The Yankees helped him, and we don't know what he was doing in his free time. We don't know who he was talking. The Yankees helped him get closer to the Mets. I know the Mets got a closer look at him. He wasn't playing in San Diego at night when people are going to sleep. And I will also say this because he said it. He talked about the Latin players. That means something. Soto is from the Dominican Republic. He talked about the amount of Latin players that the Mets have. That is a clubhouse dynamic. That is a dynamic with speaking to your manager. That is a dynamic of feeling at home and choosing a place where you're going to be for the next 15 years. So that paired with a suite, that paired with your mom having a clothing allowance to go shop till she drops so that she can look extra pretty in the suite as you host the whole Supreme Court of Soto. It's obvious why he went to Queens, and I wish him luck. Not too much luck, but like I'm here in New York. I'm on WFAN. I could go see him play. It's better for business for both teams to be good. You don't sign Juan Soto to miss the postseason. And for anybody thinking that the Mets just have to make the postseason, no. That's over now. Obviously, they better make the postseason back-to-back years, which has been a little bit of a challenge. But you want to be big, bro. You want to be Kings of New York. You want to represent King Cohen and talk about how it's a Mets town now. You got to go win the World Series. That's what the Yankees got to do every year. Mario, Long Beach, back on the fan, using the bat line.
How you doing, Keith?
Thanks.
Yeah, so very interesting thing. If you look, I'm going to give you some numbers. 27 home runs a year, 85 RBIs, and 285 batting average. What would you say that kind of a player that is?
That's a good player. That's a good, not great, but that's a good player in Major League Baseball. That's a guy I'd like to have right now at third base or DH for the Yankees.
But you know why those numbers? Soto.
That's his average. Yeah, I thought that's where you were going. And I'll say this. Soto just had his best year of his career, and it's not for nothing. Like, he did that hitting in front of Judge. He did that in Yankee Stadium. He did that in that Yankees lineup. Like, It's going to be a little different, but Soto is Soto. I still expect him to produce. Maybe not what he did last year, but maybe a little better than his career average. Go on.
Yeah, one more point with Judge. You know, you were saying like, and I agree that you know, he hasn't won in the postseason. That's what he got to do. He's very similar in football to Lamar Jackson, actually. You know, in terms of
2-time MVP. Yeah.
A perfect example is Peyton Manning. He's going into the same year Jackson is going in now, and he didn't win anything. Then all of a sudden he won one and it changed. All he's got to do is win one and everything changes. So I think he will. He's just too good. Thanks for taking my call. Great show as always.
Thanks. Yeah. I hope it's this year. He's not getting any younger. And that's why I say that the Yankees have to move with some urgency here. They can't rest on, you know, we got McDonald's at home. No, go out and get some McDonald's. We need Happy Meals. We're not going to accept it. We're not going to accept it. 888-808-1019. Judge is not getting any younger. Cole is not getting any younger. Stanton is always hurt. We know that. You know that. So why didn't you make a move to prepare for that? Break glass in case of emergency. This is an emergency. You have a team that made it to the World Series last year. You have a team competing in a weak AL. You have a team with aging superstars. You have a team that was mocked by the entire baseball world. You have a team that has to compete with another team in town now that seems to think that because they got Juan Soto, one guy's opinion, to swing from Yankees to Mets, that like that won them something. If I'm Brian Cashman, if I'm Hal Steinbrenner, this is not good enough. We got to do more. And you still have time to do more. Calvin is in Washington Heights. Calvin, you're on the Fan.
Hey, my boy, how you doing, man?
You know, hanging in there, you know, watching TV, hosting the show.
I got 2 quick points that I want to do. One about Vladdy, but one just to answer the question about what the gentleman was saying about Juan Soto. I think only Ted Williams has the first 6 years in the Major League Baseball to start a career. Only Juan Soto has those numbers. Juan Soto is not a person that's going to hit you 50 to 40 home runs. I said it once before. I like to compare him to a left-handed version of Miguel Cabrera. He's going to take what the pitcher's giving him. It's like a quarterback. He's going to take what the offense is giving.
Right.
If you're not coming through the strike zone, I'll take the base. No worries. Or you're not. He's very disciplined when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Actually, the last season he had in San Diego, 35 home runs in that funeral park, in that cemetery, because the ball doesn't carry in that park like that. Hitting 35 is actually, in my point of view, almost equivalent to 41 for the Yankees, because Yankee Stadium is more of a hitter's park. That's one point that I wanted to say. And the good thing about Juan Soto, I am a fan of him, but the great thing about him is that he shows up in the playoffs. I want the Yankees to still stay with the swagger that they were having when they were scoring runs. That's the one thing that I loved about them last year. That when they were scoring home runs, you see them in the dugout, hey, jumping, excited. I'm like, yo, they're having fun. I want them to continue that. I know Soto input that a little bit to the team, but I want Judge and the rest of the team to continue with that because it was fun just to listen, to watch. The games was actually exciting, watching the team having fun.
I'm right there with you, Calvin. Thanks for the call. I mean, and good points about Soto. Again, Soto is going to adapt to where he is. And not for nothing, like Mets fans have seen him in Citi Field. He hits pretty well in that ballpark. He's gonna hit. I'm not a Juan Soto hater, and I'm not so much of a Yankee fan that like some of these Yankee fans will call and talk down on his defense or say that he's a Met now, so he's just gonna be neutralized. Or like, no, I got to watch this guy. I did not miss one of his at-bats last year. And watching him up close, like he's different. Like you're gonna enjoy watching Juan Soto hit for you, and he's gonna win you some games. And like Calvin said, he's gonna take what the pitcher gives him. If you don't want to throw it in the strike zone, he's disciplined. He's not swinging at it. He's gonna work a walk. Then you're gonna need somebody to drive him in, Pete or Vientos or whoever. But then if you want to challenge Juan Soto and you make that mistake, if you leave it in the zone, bye. He's putting the ball up where that Coca-Cola sign is. 888-808-1019. As far as the Yankees and having fun, you know, I had like a quote card. You know, WFN, our digital team is great. They make these quote cards. I think Ryan Chichester cooks them up. He'll listen to my show and he'll just get like one good sentence, like, "Ooh, that's the good sentence to make the quote card and put on social media." But when we were talking about Devin Williams and the facial hair policy, you know, the quote card had me say something like, you know, like baseball's supposed to be fun. Like these guys got to shave their beards. And there were a bunch of other things that I said about the Yankees. Like, you know, these guys don't have the names on their back of their jerseys. You know, they can't grow their facial hair out. They can only have one chain. You know, there's obviously a ton of rules. I mean, Juan Soto, when he was getting courted, we heard all these stories about Yankee security being uptight and not letting them do certain things, which that is what they have to do. That's what they're supposed to do. But you know, and I know the Yankees are corporate. They are buttoned up. They have class, and a lot of that is being a classy organization. You don't let anything go on. But man, it can't be the no fun league. You got to let guys express yourself. And even yesterday, some of the comments I'm seeing as the Yankees do their media day and their photos, right? Jazz Chisholm, he's got the you know, the chain and the purple glasses and the braids and the hair, and he's got all these different accents, the belt and the sliding glove and the elbow pad and the pink mid and the cleats or whatever. Like, this guy is a colorful guy and personality. That's how he expresses himself. And the Yankees allow that. He doesn't have to have a beard, but they let him do the rest of that. They have to have fun. I talked about the OMG Mets, how hell I would have brought Candelita back just for the vibes. Like, and I guess, you know, lightning's not going to strike twice, but like, those were immaculate vibes. Everybody in baseball was watching the Mets like, yo, they are having fun. Baseball is a children's game. It is supposed to be fun for all to play and to watch, to enjoy every day. It can't be so buttoned up. It can't be so uptight, because then when it gets tough, it gets really tough and it becomes miserable. 888-808-1019. I don't want to see this version of the Yankees become miserable. Like, Soto's going to have fun. Soto's going to do a shuffle. Soto's going to do his crotch grab. He's going to look at the pitcher. He's going to step out. He's going to tell the ump, nope, that wasn't in the zone. Like, he's going to do his thing. And they've got a couple other guys like Swaggy Vientos that's going to do his thing. Other guys on the team that are going to bring that type of energy. And obviously in Queens with the Mets, more of that type of stuff goes. The Yankees, they don't have an OMG sign when they hit homers. They just, you know, hey, everybody slap five, whatever. I would love to see the Yankees have something. You know, I think we're getting there, though, right? Last year, they had the seafoam green accents, where I was like, oh, cool. I actually saw Soto today walk out in his Mets colors, and I looked at his cleats. He had navy blue cleats with seafoam green on them. I'm like, those are your last year Yankee editions, Soto. Got to throw those out. But I think the Yankees are getting there as far as letting players express themselves and encouraging these guys to have fun. Baseball is monotonous. It's daily. It's a grind. These guys got to celebrate the good times. And I hope that they do something. I don't think they're going to have a home run, Selly. I know they're not going to have a City Connect uniform, but I hope that they have some things with this new clubhouse, this new group, you know, after Soto, that they can really, you know, find their swagger, find their mojo, their aura, their moxie, their vibe that can carry them through a long baseball season that hopefully ends with them being champs. 888-808-1019, KM to, I don't know, 10 p.m. on the Fan. We'll be right back. Six, 4. Almost got to the where was I at in the chat? Right here. Boomer, Phil, pick up Vlad, 3 for $100 million. An option at 4, incentivizing year 4 money based on team and personal success. He's gonna get way more than that, bro. He's gonna make way more money than that. Keith, will Stanton come back from his injury? The world may never know. Yeah, he'll be back sometime. I don't know. Hopefully it's like by May. Yanks don't need Vladdy the Fatty. Dude's on the fast track to Pablo Sandoval 2.0. I disagree, bro. I don't know if you follow the Bat Boys. But those are my guys. And they shot this workout video with Vladdy. And I know everybody wants to say Vladdy is a fat boy and all this, whatever, but he works out pretty hard. Here's a picture of him. He's put on some muscle, man. He's not fat. That's not a gut. That's a lot of muscle. He's a powerful dude. And Vladdy knows he's got to have a big year and go into free agency. I think he's keeping his weight in check. He's doing the workouts and stuff. Does this look like a fat man to you? That's a powerful guy. I will talk Mets, not Mets, winter Mets. I'll talk winter Mets at some point. Yitzchak, Gilly G, what's up? Much like Cashman bluffed the Mets to break the bank on Soto, like they were in World Series of Poker, Cash will obviously not leave the team with the black holes at the corners and a lineup that becomes Mets-esque. Okay. And I do think Cashman is waiting. He's lurking in the background. He's not gonna allow this team to go out there with this many holes. Question, Keith, I heard last night on the Fan, I'm not sure about this, but he said that the Yankees or the Mets owner are mad about it's not enough fans in the stands, and they're mad about that. Steve Cohen mentioned at the end of last year there weren't enough fans in the ballpark. Remember Brandon Nimmo begging the fans to come out? Yeah, I listened to C-Mac's show for a little bit. That was Steve Cohen. Keith, my words got jumbled at the end of that post that you read. I was referring to his inability to field a ball just as much of an Achilles heel as okay. That's why I switched the word hitter to pitcher target. But I could come back and speak on that as well. Field a ball just as much of an Achilles as his bat is strength. Just got to type slow. Great show as usual. They pay me. If I didn't put together a good show, they had to get me up out of here. They wouldn't pay me to do it. Yeah. Thought on the Knicks second half? Yeah, coming up. I'm gonna do that in the last hour, 9 o'clock, before we when the Johnnies start playing, when we're closer to Rutgers. I'm gonna do basketball. This next second half part of the show, I'm gonna start mixing in some football. We're gonna talk Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields. Combine coming up. But yeah, I'll get into the Knicks show. I don't believe in them. They don't want to hear from me, though. They don't want to hear me say it. They don't want to hear me talk about the Knicks, though. They be big mad when I say what I say about the Knicks. Talk about these automated balls and strikes. Let me see here. All right, just getting my ducks in order. Oh, look at this. KM to AM while eating dinner as well. Ha ha ha. Shout out to Dharma. Dharma, you're watching this still? I'm late because I got so many DMs. 8:12. It's now 13 minutes later. Shout out to Dharma watching the stream. Y'all show me mad love, man. I love it though. Got the baby watching the live stream. Since I have a baby, I think that's great. Yeah. 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. Good drops, too. I am different, if you couldn't tell. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the fan. We will start to introduce some football conversation. And then once we get to 9 o'clock, I can watch the St. John's game. And then we'll start to talk about the Knicks. We'll start talking about the NBA. Maybe we can talk about the NHL, Four Nations. I will be on tomorrow night after the Nets game, which will also be after the Four Nations face-off. And the Nets and the Knicks will get back to playing basketball. So we'll be able to react to that tomorrow night. But for now, we're still talking baseball, man. And there's a few things. Something else I wanted to mention was the automatic strike zone, right? The this spring training, right? I remember hearing about this a couple of years ago. I feel like that this year was going to be the year MLB would test the automated ball and strikes challenge system during the spring games. And I think I saw a clip of Luis Heel already using it. And I also saw a clip where Carlos Mendoza said he's curious to see it. The ABS system. And it made me think, I'm like, didn't I see this? I did. So when I went to the All-Star game in 2023 out in Seattle, they had the Futures game, and it was awesome. Now, the thing is, folks, if you go to games like I do, or if you watch games at home and you want the game to be fast, you want the game to be 2 hours and 10 minutes with this automatic, balls and strike, this ABS automated strike zone with this challenge system, it's going to slow the game down. So if you can stand it, it actually adds like a very cool element to the game because it's kind of like tennis where you can see where the ball lands. It's kind of like Yes Network where they show you, like the pitches, like whether it's a ball or strike, you can challenge it. And then on the big screen, they have the tracking system and they show you where that ball is. And if it clips the strike zone, it's like it creates a level of suspense where you're waiting to find out the verdict. It's pretty fast, but I think there's only going to be a certain amount of challenges. And, I know everybody's got to, get out of there. Everybody's in a rush to get out of the game. I'm not. I miss the games going long, and I don't need Manfred's man on second. I don't understand. I do understand. It has sped things up, and it's for the casual baseball fan. But yeah, if you can stand it, this is on the way. The automated ball and strike system. And we need it, man. We need it, yo. We need it. I think about game 3. I went to game 3 of the World Series, and I just have this like image in my head of all these Yankees just like taking a step and not swinging, hoping that they were going to get a gift, hoping that they were going to get a ball, hoping that they were going to work a walk and pass the baton to the next guy. And if it's borderline, like they're not going to give you anything. Let's see. How many challenges does each team receive in the ABS challenge games played during spring training 2025? Each team will start the game with 2 challenges apiece. So it's not going to slow down the game. You can only do it twice. But, man, you better save it for later in the game. You better save it for when it matters who can issue a challenge, the batter, the pitcher, or the catcher. Challenges must be made immediately after the umpire's call. We need this. All this other stuff that they've done, I don't think anything's going to revolutionize the game more than this. It's going to add suspense, and we're going to get the calls right. That's the most important thing, getting the balls and strikes right. You know how furious you are when somebody gets rang up on some nonsense. You know how mad you are when the bat gets taken out of a guy's hand, or when a pitcher has to throw multiple strikes, when a pitcher strikes a guy out and then it turns into a base. You know what I'm talking about, baseball fans. So we're getting closer to this. With the game starting this weekend, we'll be able to see it, and we're one step closer. Away we go. We're into the future. You know what else I was thinking about during the break? And shout out to people in the chat watching and, kind of talking to me through the break. I think it's helping me have a better show, honestly, having a live chat, because like while I'm breaking, I'm not just in my own thoughts. Jack, what up, bro? You're in now at 8:30? Sitting in for Zoo? He went to the bathroom? Oh, okay. I'm like, that was an odd switch. I look up, Zoo's not there. You're there. What's up, man? But yeah, I have this live chat going. So I have people that I can talk to during the break, and they're triggering other thoughts. I've got another reason why the Yankees got to go for it. You have the Tampa Bay Rays paying you $15 million this year to use your spring training facility. I don't want to hear about this payroll stuff. I don't want you have holes. And I believe that Brian Cashman is not going to actually go into this season with these current holes. You made all of those moves to still have this many holes. John is in Bayonne on the Fan. Go for it, John. No.
Then comes football, my life, okay? And when it comes down to it, it's the greatest thing in the world. To be able to talk sports with a young man like you that doesn't challenge me, say, oh, I know everything. No, listen, I don't know everything either. I'm 66, but one thing I do know my baseball. So when it comes down to it, got Steve Cohen crying about attendance. I met George Steinbrenner, okay? And I went to a playoff game with the Kansas City Royals, and there was only 20,000 people in the stands. We snuck down, and we sitting down, and I was with the vice president of NBC Sports. And I said, can we see this? Yeah, come on, the guy did a show. And he said, oh, George's up there, he pauses in his booth and all like that. That's sports. Now, everybody makes it entertainment. Everybody wants to make money. George wasn't about that. George was about the Yankees being the best team in baseball.
Winning.
He spent his money, and he made sure, guess what? We're going to go out there and win. And he went down there and chewed out his players. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
He's there for money. He's not there for sports. Okay? He wants the casino. He wants this. He wants... Listen, there's never going to be another owner in baseball like George Steinbrenner. There ain't going to be.
Yeah, I don't really like the comparisons between Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen is a philanthropist. It seems like a charity event. He's just pouring his money into the Mets because he wants to be this like savior, this king. That's cool and all. But he did say, they got to win. But I thought it was funny that he said, oh, yeah, we got to make the postseason. What? You doing all this just to make the postseason? In this expanded postseason? Like, no, you got to win, buddy. Like you're spending all this money. You just bought an $800 million player. That player's supposed to take you to the championship. That player's supposed to win. And you're doing a lot of other things too. But ultimately, like to hear, oh, he's the new George Steinbrenner. No, there's different players in the game. The game is not the same. And I know we like to highlight just the good about George, but the good about George was that it was winning and nothing else. Win at all costs. I will chew out my players. I will go get the best players because winning cures all. Winning fixes everything else. If you're winning, people will show up. If you win, winning makes you money. You don't have to worry about anything else. If you have the best players, the best product, and you find a way to win and be champions. That's what I'm looking at the Yankees. Like, yo, you got to the World Series last year. That should make you be like itching right now to do everything in your power to get back and to say to hell with the money and the tax and the parameters and like we just got 15 million extra from Tampa. Like, go spend to make sure you have the team, make the trades, bring in guys, like stack the deck. It would be a huge regret if Garrett Cole and Judge and Stanton and these guys age out without winning a World Series. And it's just, oh, they got to that one. It was close. They lost to the Dodgers, a gentleman's sweep, could have been swept. And yeah, we didn't do enough the year after to get them back in that position to win. And it might not be the Dodgers. It could be the Diamondbacks sitting there again. It could be the Padres. It could be the Mets. But the Yankees have an opportunity right now to put some of the best players in the sport right back in the Fall Classic. And I do believe that they're going to do more. I don't think that they're going to go into the season with the holes that they currently have.
Keith, here's the thing, okay? They got to give the Martian, they got to give Spencer Jones, they got to give the core, like we did with Jeter, we did with Rivera, we did with Williams, we did with Posada, we did with Pettit. We got to give that. We got to do that with the.
Yeah.
Say this. We got to stop this luxury tax thing when you got ingrown people that are in the organization and they get raises. They shouldn't be subject to this tax because they're in the Yankees organization. If we get free agency, then we get taxed. Otherwise, no. They've been through the system. If they get 20 million.
I like the idea, but they're going to add up all the math. But I like the idea, and we do have players. Volpe is a homegrown young player. Austin Wells is a homegrown young player. Luis Gil is a homegrown young player. Oswaldo Cabrera could be starting at third base, or Peraza. Those are both young players. Jason Dominguez, like you mentioned, they are going to find out what he is this year. He is a young Yankee, and maybe Spencer Jones, and maybe Ben Rice, and maybe, I don't know, Will Warren or somebody else we get to see. Even like a Clark Schmidt, Jonathan Loaizaga. Like, these guys are from the Yankees, like draft development. They're Yankees. We have some young players mixed in, but I have a fear of this window closing and the American League getting stronger, and then the Yankees just being back to like middle of the pack. I'm like, it's now. You got to punch the ticket now.
Keith, it's not going to be like that because you know what, though? I'm glad they're inside Bergman. He's like a TJ LeMahieu. You get maybe 1 year at him, then you're stuck with the contract. What the main thing is, we got to go with Cabrera at third base. We had the same thing last year at third base. It didn't change.
Yeah, until they put Jazz there. They wanted to put, Glaber there, and they ended up trading for Jazz and putting Glaber there. John, thanks for the call. Going back to how you started your call, I know that I don't know everything. I was saying that every night, or I was saying that last night, and I'll say that every night. I don't get on this mic thinking I'm a know-it-all. I don't get on this mic. It's impossible. I have Google, though. So what I don't know, I can quickly look up. And if you know something, if I say something wrong, call and tell me, challenge me, and I won't take it any kind of way. I'm not old enough to know more than some people listening. And I'm self-taught. Nobody taught me baseball. Nobody taught me football. Nobody taught me basketball. I'm learning more and more every day. I've learned more doing this radio job with this being my profession. This wasn't always my profession. There are guys that are in this radio station that have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, where every single day they know the news. They know the stats. They know the history. They know those things. I have to play catch up. So I am humble in that regard. I know I bring a lot of talent and intangibles and different things to the table. But yeah, as far as talking to a 66-year-old, no, I'm not trying to tell you anything different about what is going on out here. I'm not trying to challenge you on what you see. You saw 30 years more than I saw. Like, you saw things that I did not live to see, that didn't exist. I have people tweeting me about, oh, you don't know that the Mets ran this city. I'm like, yeah, I saw the 30 for 30 about the Mets in the 80s. It looked great, but it also looked like ancient history. I wasn't alive. I didn't start remembering things until the mid-90s. And I don't even remember all of those. There are live games I've seen in Yankee Stadium that I don't even recall. My brain doesn't work like that. There's a lot going on. We have shorter attention spans as millennials and Gen Z and younger kids. I will never get on WFAN and cut you short unless you say something ridiculous or preposterous. Like you just said that signing Bregman was like signing DJ LeMahieu. I let it ride, but I was going to address it. Nah. Bregman wasn't going to get signed because of the money he was looking for and his history and the team he was coming from. But Bregman right now, And you know, when we signed DJ, it was way different. I think Bregman's definitely got more years in him of being an effective player. He's a proven player, a proven postseason player, and a champion. The Yankees just need one more bat right now. In my opinion, they need one more bat. And I don't know exactly how they get it, whether they sign somebody, whether they trade for somebody, but I do have faith that they're not done. And Brian Cashman, with all the moves that he made, did not make this many moves to leave this many holes. 888-808-1019. When we come back, I'll sprinkle in some of the quarterback carousel. Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. We'll talk about the NFL salary cap, the draft, combine coming up. And then once we get inside the 9 o'clock hour, my last hour on the Fan tonight, St. John's will start, and we'll start looking at what the Knicks got to do to be able to get out of the second round this year. I don't see it, but what do I know? Somebody could get hurt on the Celtics. Somebody could get hurt on the Cavs, and maybe this is the year for the Knicks to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Call me up. We'll be right back.
South. Weekdays 10 to 2 on the Fan, 101.9 FM.
I mean, listen, Kirk Cousins is quarterback of this team. I'm going to lose God. Better not.
He dropped off.
Don't wait.
Stream BT South live or on demand with the Odyssey app.
T. Higgins is going to get tagged. There was already a report there. T. Higgins is going to tag him. His mom tweeted something out like, "You greedy bastards." T. Higgins is going to get tagged, and he's going to play another year in Cincinnati. They got to pay Jamar Chase. ASAP Rocky. And Jamar Chase just won the Triple Crown. They got to run him the most money for a receiver ever. I was surprised that Lindor is the captain of the Mets. They didn't name him. Did that just break? I don't think that's news, Pam. I don't think that happened yet. And I wouldn't be surprised.
Your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hardworking tools at hardworking prices. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Hey there, it's John Stark from John Stark Gear, where you find award-winning vehicles, amazing service, and great prices. Plus, every Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty.
At John Stark's Kia, you can lease a Kia K5 for $349 a month with 0 down, 0 bank fees, 0 first payment, and 0 security deposit. That's 0 due at signing. 36-month lease with no security deposit required. 10K miles per year. Excludes tax, title, and MV fees. Expires February 28th.
Senior at John Stark Kia.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it.
All right, so I'm going to mix this NFL conversation in.
For your shipping and industrial supplies.
Whew.
Uline.com.
Plumbing problem? No match for a little DIY duct tape. Hold on. Nope. There we go. No match for a little duct tape and a wrench. Leaks are no match for duct tape and a wrench. And a bucket and a towel, more duct tape with a hammer, this random 2 black out in the basement, another bucket, more tape, more tape.
On seconds on daily, plumbing the road.
And the weight room travels down the drain.
This Black History Month, WFAN and Boost Mobile salute Black heroes in sports. Trailblazers.
Do you think baseball would ever consider implementing a hard salary cap, salary floor? Yeah, they're considering it right now. With what the Dodgers are doing, they're considering it right now.
A Hall of Famer and 7-time Pro Bowler, his relentless pass rush made him one of the most feared defenders in NFL history.
All right, what channel is FS1? Turn to FS1 for this St. John's game.
Disease is an inflammatory skin condition right near the tailbone. Now, I personally suffered from this. Let me tell you, it can be brutal and
I don't know what channel this shit is on. I don't know these channels in here at all. I've been in here for years. I did not memorize these channels.
Go to PiloFix.com right now to learn more. That's PiloFix,
Fox Sports 1 for St. John's. When we come back, we will talk about some football.
Turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my drive rating where it belongs. Pick it up.
Hey, weekend warriors, how's a little trail therapy sound right now? Hop in. Let's go for a ride in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X.
I don't know what channel F is. Okay, I think I'm getting close. Here's S and Y. Yes. CBS, FS1, channel 19. All right, we're in there. Yankees revenge tour needs to happen this season. It's now or never. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're looking for revenge. It seems like they're looking to be okay. It seems like they're like, yeah, well, whatever happens, happens. It's out of our control.
That's BETTERMANT.com. Investing involves risk.
Valspar products make any project easy. Valspar exterior stain and sealer makes preserving your fence a breeze. Valspar Reserve makes updating the den a piece of cake.
This is clean. This is what I mean. I said this. All my niggas got it, unanimous.
Get it at Lowe's.
Hear that? That's the beginning of by the confidence. Vehicle so reliable.
Yeah.
By a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Your journey starts here and ends. That's up to you. Lease the new 2025 Sportage LX for $249 a month for 24 months with $39.99 due with finance for well-qualified during the President's Day sales event. Keys moving inspired. See your town for warranty details. Call 800-343 details. All stars quickly. New 2025 Sportage LX 2.5 liter FWD 18-20,075 and certainly includes destination handling and excludes taxi title registration license fees, options, and utility charges. No security deposit required. Show business FID or may vary.
So, yeah, we're going to talk NFL. There's a lot of smoke screens going up right now because teams want you to believe that they are going to sign a quarterback or draft a quarterback, or they want to throw you off the scent of what quarterback they're going to get. So
sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich and 6 crispy hash browns, all for $6. Become a Dun King or Queen with the Dunkin' Dun King $6 meal deal. Available now at your local Dunkin' or order ahead on the Dunkin' app. No substitutions. Participation may vary. Limited time offer. Not be combined with other offers. Exclusions and terms apply.
To talk New York sports is WFAN. Call us anytime at 888-808-1019.
all right, let's get it, man. Last hour, I will kind of tease some stuff, plant some seeds. Oh. Okay. You are now in the mix with DJ Ed Arzuman on the fan. Big Zoo-Wop on the ones and twos with Keith McPherson at night. All right. 888-808-1019. We are just hanging out, about to watch the St. John's game, talking through some Yankee stuff, some Mets stuff. And I got to sprinkle in some NFL stuff because the smoke screens are going up everywhere in the upcoming quarterback carousel and this light quarterback draft. And with it being a light quarterback draft, man, I just feel like there are rumors, there is nonsense, there's a lot of things going on. So I talked yesterday about Daniel Jones potentially being a fit in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh Steelers fans absolutely lost it online and tweaked over that because their whole thing right now is they have been mid with Tomlin. They have been average with Tomlin. Why would you go get a quarterback that they're not even sure is average, right? There's an article, Daniel Jones rumors send Steeler fans into frenzy to start the offseason. There are Steelers fans that are like, no, hell no. And so I saw, shout out to Danny Parkins, who does the Breakfast Ball show with Craig Carton in the morning, I saw they put out a graphic and it had Daniel Jones and Justin Fields, and Andrew Filipponi tweeted it out. He said, "This is incredible. Jones and Fields are the same quarterback. You can't love one and hate the other. They're identical." So since 2021, Daniel Jones has 43 starts. Justin Fields has 44. Daniel Jones has won 16 of those games. Justin Fields has won 14. Team points per game, 18 for Daniel Jones, 20 for Justin Fields. Total yards per game, 234.6 for Daniel Jones, 230.2 for Justin Fields. Passer rating, 84.5 for Daniel Jones, 84.5 for Justin Fields. They are similar, but I got to give the nod to Daniel Jones. He's played more games. He's won a playoff game. And in that playoff game, where all we talk about is postseason performance, when the lights were brightest, he absolutely balled. And I just think he'll do more than a Justin Fields with a defense and a run game around him. But I don't know where these guys land up. Supposedly the Jets are interested in Justin Fields. Okay. Daniel Jones, somebody's going to take him on. He's going to come in and compete somewhere. Maybe the Jets. Man, some of these Steeler fan tweets with Daniel Jones are hilarious. It just shows you what the league thinks about Daniel Jones, and the Giants signed him for that $40 million a year contract. They got tweets with people drinking bleach. But yeah, the other smoke screens that are going up right now are with Matthew Stafford. I don't believe that the Rams would get rid of him. But people are saying that if the Rams trade him, they're going to go after Aaron Rodgers. And if they were to trade Matthew Stafford, they're looking for a number 1 pick. Those are the rumors right now. But this is what happens before we get to see the combine, the pro days, and then people start to really, put their mock drafts together. And I think it's been pretty clear cut. I think most people are leaning Cam Ward over Shedeur Sanders. I would lean that way too. I just feel like Cam, and I forget who it was that was talking about quarterbacks and their build. You got to have a quarterback and pause with some ass. Like he's got to have he's got to have some weight to his bottom. And I feel like Cam Ward's got the bigger body, the thicker frame. He also is a better runner than Shedeur. And man, his off-platform throws and his confidence in the pocket and the way that he slings the ball in there, he's a little bit of a gunslinger too. And his journey, his story, like these guys are almost polar opposites. Shedeur Sanders is the son of Deion Sanders. The kid was a made man in high school with his dad coaching the team. Cam Ward had to go to Incarnate Word and then transfer to Washington State and then transfer to Miami and ball out there. And they should have went undefeated. But I look at these two guys and I like what Cam said recently about, hey, if you pass on me, I'm going to remember that. You got to play me. I think there's a real good chance that the Titans don't get the offer that they're looking for, and they take him. Will Levis is not good. Mason Rudolph is not good. And you've been drafting quarterbacks since Tannehill's departure. And Tannehill's still floating out there. Somebody might bring him in. He hasn't officially retired yet. He couldn't sign on anywhere. But I think that they could take Cam Ward, and he starts week 1. I think he's better than Will Levis. And I don't think that's a bad move for a franchise like the Titans. Someone could give him a trade package. Like there were rumors that the Jets might give him the trade package that they would like. They trade back. Maybe they take another younger quarterback to come in and compete. But there's also some rumors that the Titans could be interested in Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if you're into the gambling, but there's money on the Titans. When you look at the odds, right? The Titans are plus 450. I think the Steelers are another destination. They're plus 250. And, earlier today I said Aaron Rodgers is a master manipulator. He's got these Jedi mind tricks. So Deshaun Elliott, he was very vocal. He came out immediately and said something about Aaron Rodgers. I forget if he called him old. There was a tweet that he put out right away about Aaron Rodgers and not wanting him to be on the Steelers. And so what does Aaron Rodgers do? Aaron Rodgers somehow in the offseason finds him, connects with him, and yeah, Aaron Rodgers and Steelers safety Deshaun Elliott have already mended their differences while preparing for the offseason. Elliott, who commented on Instagram telling the former Jets quarterback to leave his ass at the retirement home on February 12th, was pictured with Rodgers less than a week later. So Rodgers, look at it, like, this is how Rodgers moves. Oh, you're talking about me? Oh, where do you rehab at? Where do you train at? I'm popping up there, and I'm going to take a picture with you, and maybe I'll be your new quarterback. 888-808-1019. It is about to be 9 o'clock. We'll hit the update. When we come back, I'll tell you about the Knicks, and you're probably not going to like what I think about the Knicks, but who cares what I have to say about the Knicks? If you're a Knicks fan, go New York, go New York, go. Keith McPherson on the fan. I'll be right back.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled,
Okay.
your laundry can be, you'll want to see
Oh, boy.
those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps
Back to the chat. I'm afraid it's over for Justin Tucker. It sucks. I used to love him as a Ravens fan. Yeah, he's a scumbag. He's a Deshaun Watson wannabe. Bro, you know how weird you got to be a famous millionaire football player and to be going to get massages and putting these women that are at work in that awkward position when it's easier than ever to pull chicks? It's easier than ever to pull chicks, bro. It's easier than ever, bro. The internet makes it so easy to pull girls now. If you're rich and you're famous, it's dumb easy. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get girls now, bro. It's easy. It's easy to get girls now, bro. Why you gotta go to the massage parlor and force yourself? It's easy to get these girls, bro. It's easy. I'm just playing. None of those are my girl. I'm married. That was a modeling gig that I did. But yeah, Justin Tucker, weirdo vibes. And I hope they prosecute his ass. I hope they prosecute him for real. Let me see.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have
Seven more allegations on Tucker. Yeah, so he had a pattern of this. This is what he was doing. I don't even want to talk about it, bro, because it's like another player doing this. I don't think Odell retired yet. He forced his way out of Miami. I don't think he retired yet.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-2.
All right, looking for some Knicks stuff.
Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist. I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
The President's Day sales event is live at Security Dodge. Don't go someplace else to save hundreds. Come to Security Dodge in Athens and save thousands. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com.
WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Yankees pitching prospect Chase Hampton is injured for the second straight spring. Hampton is a flexor strain, but manager Aaron Boone was ominous about it, saying that Hampton has something going on with his UCL. Hampton underwent testing in New York today. Mets former top prospect Matt Allen is back from 2 Tommy John surgeries. Allen hasn't pitched in a game since 2019, but he's in camp with the Mets, says he's healthy, and is holding on to his dream. We got some local hoops tonight. 10th ranked St. John's is visiting last place DePaul. That game tips off in a few moments. Rutgers men's basketball is out west playing at Washington tonight. Well, the pregame for that game starting at 10:15 here on the Fan. And the championship game of the Four Nations Face-Off featuring the U.S. and Canada is tomorrow night. American and New York Ranger had a box is eager to drop the puck.
jacked up on the fifth grade, so ready to get it going.
Eagerly anticipated after that fight-filled American win in Canada on Saturday. That'll be tomorrow night in Boston at 8 o'clock. I'll meet McCarthy.
So home to talk New York sports is WFAN. Call us anytime at 888-808-1019. The Fan, 1019 FM, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, here we go. Inside the 9 p.m. hour on the Fan. My last hour tonight. Coming up after me is Rutgers basketball. When we hit that? Exactly at 10 or like 10:15? Somebody in the background was like, boo. Just kidding. Well, actually not kidding. Somebody, I know there's somebody. It's funny, right? That when you do the radio, you're subject to opinions, you're subject to criticism all day, every day. I've honestly grown immune to it. But I laugh. Like I woke up today, I blocked this dude, and I don't even ever block anybody. But like, when you first go to your phone and you're checking emails and texts, you go to Twitter, I'm like, this guy went on this long rant with like 5 tweets. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to block you because like, I don't even care to read all this and go back and forth with you. And the thing is, like, you kind of got to just stay balanced and even keeled. And it's good and bad. Like, I like reading negative things. I like reading criticism because most of it is so off base and not merited. But it keeps you balanced. It keeps you humble because there are some people that tell you are the greatest, you're the best thing. I mean, you guys listen to a radio station. Every night I do a show, somebody's calling and they're giving me a great compliment. And like that's kind, that's nice, that's thoughtful and all. But then, there are cowards that hide online and hide their face and their name. And, they kind of keep you in check too. They're like, hey, everybody doesn't love you. So I know people aren't going to love my take about the Knicks. And that was part of what this guy said online to me today. And I was laughing. He's like, this guy hates the Mets, hates the Knicks. How is he on air? I'm like, I don't hate them. But like, I keep it a bean. I keep it a buck. I keep it 100. I'm authentic. I'm real about it. Like, I don't think the Knicks are winning. And I was saying this at Fanatics Fest in August. I don't think they're winning. I don't think they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I may be dead wrong, but I just look at the teams that they've played this year. They haven't been good against elite competition. Oh, Keith, they're getting Mitchell Robinson back, and OG is healthy, and it's going to be different when guys can go to the bench. Yeah, but this is still very much a new team. I am excited for the Knicks to have OG Anunoby back practicing with no restrictions, and Mitchell Robinson cleared for 5-on-5 contact. Mitchell Robinson posting it's go time. But you're about to face teams that are already cohesive units that have already gotten past the second round. Like, I just think that it's too soon for this group of Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, joining Brunson and Hart and OG and Campaign and Precious Achiuwa. And, I just think it's too soon for them to make a run. But I say this every single year. Somebody always gets hurt. We see it in the playoffs every single year. The playoffs are affected by injuries. It's a long season. That's why these guys load manage. It's inopportune a lot. I mean, Knicks fans can attest to it. What happened to you in the Pacers series? Maybe you do get out of the second round if you're, healthy. But that's part of the game. It's sports. It's athletics. So stay healthy. I pray the Knicks stay healthy because, the Brooklyn Nets aren't going to do anything. Or are they? Are they going to be a playing team? Are they going to challenge? Maybe. Who cares? I care as a Nets fan. I don't want them to tank. I could care less about the lottery. It was funny. I was listening to Loogie today talk about the picks that were traded for Mikal Bridges and that they traded kindergartners. Come on. It is 2025. They're not kindergartners. Maybe some of those kids are in high school, but like we dismiss the picks traded for Mikal Bridges as if they're children. No, those picks will be NBA players. They'll be traded, and those kids are not in elementary school. They're 5-year-olds. Like, you can't trade picks from the 2045, 2050. But Mikal Bridges is exactly the type of guy that, like, okay, Mikal, this is what you wanted, right? And he said he didn't force the trade or whatever, but this is what you wanted. You wanted to be on the other side of New York. You wanted to be Big Brother. You wanted to be with the Winter Mets. You wanted to be in Madison Square Garden. Well, turn up. Now it's time. You got to do it. You got to be the guy. They went and got you first. They let go of Dante DiVincenzo. They let go of Julius Randle to get Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns has to be a factor. And, of course, Jalen Brunson, the captain, Cap, getting MVP chance, took a pay cut, or not a pay cut, but took less money to be able to put this team together. He said they all have one goal, and he loves everybody in the organization. Well, listen, you got to get past the second round. And when I look at the NBA and I look at the way it's going to shake out, we don't know. We'll see in the next couple of weeks. But another second round exit is not good. Another second round exit is a fail. Another second round exit, there better not be any chance outside the Garden, Knicks and 8. That doesn't make sense. If you do the math, it doesn't make sense. Jefferson is all the way in Arkansas on the Fan in New York. Hello. You know, hosting the show, got about another hour, a couple minutes.
You know, before I get to my next point, I want to make what is going to do regarding pitching?
I think they should bring Jose Quintana back, but they don't want to spend. So I think they're going to spend the next couple of weeks looking at their internal options. If they don't feel so great about that, if Frankie Montas, you know, isn't improving, like, I don't know, go ahead and bring Jose Quintana back. He was a part of the group that got to Game 6 of the NLCS last year.
Yeah, there are rumors about Dylan Cease. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think they're going to make the trade for Cease either. I just think it goes against what Stearns does. Like, he's not, and what they're trying to do. They're not going to trade their young prospects. They want to evaluate their young talent. Eventually, they want to, you know, get under the Cohen tax. Cohen talked about not having all of these long-term deals and roster flexibility. Well, for that to be possible, you're going to need some young, affordable players. And I don't think that they're gonna punch it for Dylan Cease this year.
You know, regarding the next point, what do you think about Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns in the second half?
They got a ball, man. They got to be at a superstar level. As a tandem, they got to be Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum level. Like, that's who's in your way. You know, as a tandem, they got to lead. They got to put the city on their backs. These are Jersey boys that I am rooting for, but I just think ultimately, like, you need a team and a bench, and you need guys all together to get it done. Go on.
I wanted to see your opinion. Who do you think is better, Jalen Brunson or Donovan Mitchell?
Who do I think is better? I think Jalen Brunson's better. I just like Brunson's game. He's a smaller player. He's polished. He can run it up for 40. I love his footwork. He's an underdog that's always had to prove himself. You know, I'll stick with Brunson. I think Brunson's a better player.
Point. There's a big game Friday night in Madison Square Garden. Got the Knicks on the Cavs. What do you think on that?
I mean, that's another one of those proving grounds. That's one of those early indicators. Say that again. I'm sorry, Jefferson. I couldn't understand what you were saying at the end there, and I think we lost you. But yeah, as I look at the Knicks' upcoming schedule, these games are important. It is, you know, and with the NBA All-Star break, it's not right in the middle of, you know, 41 games, and we're already in late February. February is a short month. Before you know it, we're in March, and that's basketball time, March Madness, and like that's tune-up time for the NBA before the playoffs start. You know, the playoffs start in less than 2 months, or just about 2 months. And when I look at the Knicks and who they're about to face, like they got to come out swinging against the Cavs in Ohio. That's a Friday night game. They're going to be juiced up. And then there's not much time to rest or lick your wounds if you lose, because you got to go to TD Garden and face the Celtics. And there's other good teams like the Grizzlies. It's time. The Lakers, like, it's time. The Knicks have to beat these good teams. The Knicks have to show the NBA world that they can compete with the elite. I think it was Brian Windhorst that was saying that, oh, yeah, like, you know, no one's losing sleep over the Knicks. They're just going to have another good season. No, you didn't make all those trades. You didn't make all those moves. You didn't put this team together. You didn't move on from homegrown Knicks, or, you know, drafted Knicks, or Knicks that had helped you get to this point to just be another second-round exit. 888-808-1019. And that goes back to a take that I had some weeks ago after the Knicks barely beat the Nets. And, you know, the Knicks had come off a winning streak, and, you know, I got on and I'm like, listen, I just don't see it. I don't see them winning with a team that they did not draft. Who do they have that is a drafted and developed homegrown star? Almost all of these teams that win have at least two of those guys, right? When you just think of roster construction and what you can and can't do, obviously there's trades and free agency. I'm like, they just don't, like, they've moved on from their guys and they haven't hit on so many guys. And when you run into these teams that have a couple homegrown stars and then they can just add role players, like the Celtics adding Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, or you go back to the Nuggets who had Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., and they can just add an Aaron Gordon. That's the formula. Having a couple homegrown guys and just, adding the role players, bench guys, adding a Bruce Brown, you know what I'm saying, to really fill out the team. But you need to hit in the draft. You need to develop some homegrown guys. Trying to kind of put the team together in these last 3 years with free agency and trades and tweaking the team every year. The more you tweak the team, the less cohesive the team is. The more you tweak the team, the less chemistry they have, the less time they have to gel, the less time they have to know where their teammates are on the floor, exactly how they're going to play. And when you're competing against these other teams, that is vital. That's important. Back to the phone we go, 888-808-1019. Avi is in Jackson. Avi, you're on.
Hey, what's up, Keith? Thank you for taking my.
You got it. Thanks for calling in.
No, I'm waiting here. I call in and I get on right away. Thank you for taking my call, and it's a treat for me to get on here.
I appreciate it, man. I saw you up there and I got you right on. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. Let us know what you got.
I just want to talk a little bit about the Yankees and the Giants. So the Giants, who do you think they should draft at this pick here?
Quarterback. Complete the holy trinity. It's got to be your GM, head coach, finally drafting their quarterback of the future and developing him and riding with him and getting the franchises and the fans excited about their quarterback. I don't know who's going to be there, but I don't think that they can pass on a Shedeur Sanders if he's there. So I think Cam Ward is gone. I think Cam Ward goes either 1 or 2. I don't think both of those teams pass on a quarterback. If Shedeur Sanders is there, they got to take Shedeur. They've been scouting him, and I think he would work here.
And about the Yankees, I think that they definitely don't have better hitters, but their pitching rotation is great.
The rotation is great, but I mean, even today you hear Clark got a little bit of a back issue. It's early. It's nothing to be worried about. They say it's nothing. Here comes Stroman now. Your depth is immediately put in, and, pitching is great. You can never have enough pitching. Bullpen is great. It's going to be a strength of the team. But when I look at the Yankees again, they always fail with not having enough hitters in the postseason, not having enough bats, and not having postseason proven guys. Now, you lost one in Soto. Right now, you don't have one in Stanton. And you can't tell me that we can rely on Judge in October. Sure, I know it's a long way from now, but I'd like to have another bat on this team. I'm not 100% positive that Goldschmidt is going to be MVP level. Belly, I'm confident that Belly's going to be a good player this year. But we're just relying on a lot of variables. I would feel better about the Yankees, and I do feel like they will add another bat. I'd feel better if they went out and added another proven hitter to this lineup.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. You're my best host.
Thanks, Avi, for your first call. That was a good call. And I don't think I've ever had anybody tell me that I'm their best host, but I'll take it. 888-808-1019. Ross is in Bergen County. He's on the Fan every day. Not his first time.
Hey, Keith. How you doing, man? How you been?
I'm good. I'm in here. I'm waiting for this Providence-Georgetown game to end so we can see the Johnnies 11.5-point favorites facing DePaul tonight.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the college and they're putting college hoops on the map, and just in general, you always talk about, Rutgers football really do it. Same with obviously the Mets said, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper go to Rutgers, and somehow they get worse. Just talk about depth. And I kind of put Mets on the call screen. If I could get in a quick Nick point though. Well, a couple callers ago brought up a good point. I think obviously the depth problem is the glaring issue with them, but I think one thing that people don't talk about enough, I think it's brought up kind of like the fatigue issue with him with this, obviously wearing players out. You may see Hart's kind of questionable. And, if you look at, I think it's the top 5 or top 10, the minutes played in the league, it's majority Knicks. I think McHale, and he's playing like a country mile, leads the league in minutes played, and he's kind of got the Ironman streak too. But I think, you look at recent years, there's a couple examples. I think one of them this year is Cleveland, of teams that were good but not good enough. And kind of the common denominator was the coach switch. Like, look, JB Bickerstaff had gotten the Cavs to the second round. I think it was like the last 2 years. Or no, actually 2 years ago was when they got run over by the Knicks. And that team was pretty solid. They already had Donovan Mitchell on that. And all of a sudden they bring in Kenny Atkinson. Not much with that roster changes. I think like Evan Mobley was the only guy, or he might have even been on that team too. And they went from kind of in the same tier as the Knicks to now all of a sudden they're in that tier. What I'd say, I think pretty much everyone unanimously agrees is Boston, OKC, and Cleveland. That team really didn't change besides Brooklyn's own Kenny Atkinson. Kind of another one too was how long was Dwayne Casey up in Toronto for, and he got fired the same year he won Coach of the Year. Same summer he won Coach of the Year, got fired for Nick Nurse, and then Nick Nurse's first year brought a ring to Toronto that they can never get with DeMar DeRozan and them. So I don't know if this is the problem necessarily, but I think we see a couple teams that their roster doesn't change too drastically, and like all it is a simple coaching change kind of lifts them over the edge. And I don't know if, like I said, this is necessarily the problem, but you know what I mean? Maybe they need a different voice. I like them. It's been years where, you've had 2 playoff runs now. You could credit last year the injury bug kind of got to them. That could kind of tie in with the fatigue element, but I don't know. I don't know if their peak is game 7 in the second round.
Yeah, coaching matters. Like you mentioned, St. John's, Rick Pitino is the change. Obviously, they changed their players, but like Rick Pitino is the change. Kenny Atkinson is the change. The Nets should have never let that guy go. But obviously, they brought in some players with ego that thought they knew better. And you know what? The players don't know better. It's about scheme and culture. And a lot of these teams take on the identity of the coach, and they inherit their culture. So when you talk about the Cavaliers, he's the change. We'll see. Darius Garland is a great player. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, former Net, another good player. They traded away Karis LeVert. They got DeAndre Hunter. I'm very interested to see what the Cavs look like this year. They're obviously better, but I'm interested to see if they can do it in the playoffs. Now, as far as Tibbs, I mean, that narrative is going to come. If guys are run down or guys are hurt, whether the injury is from playing a lot or not, that narrative comes up at the end of the season every single year. And if they are a second round out again, it will get louder that maybe this isn't the guy and maybe they need to look for another guy, which I believe that's not true. I believe these players like him, not just like him, love him. He's got a good rapport with them. And I also believe that, like, when I say coaching matters, he is the change. He is the change. His style, his culture is the change why the Knicks have actually become relevant again.
I'll bring up a name, actually. You brought up, and kind of the thing, too, with Cleveland, you just brought up with this second round. That was the same narrative with JB Bickerstaff. Cleveland looked like the world beaters when they were kind of in the same tier as the Knicks. And meanwhile, Bickerstaff kind of playing his role, which kind of goes to show maybe certain coaches peak at certain points. Now, like, all of a sudden, he turned Detroit around. But obviously, nobody's looking at them as serious contenders. But going into the year, they were probably hoping to win 35, 40 games, which I think they've already done. And you kind of bring up like a culture change, too. I remember just this year, I think a couple months ago, everybody and their mother was frowning upon Sacramento firing Mike Brown. And, that's still up in the air if that was the right decision or not. But I think right after that move, they won like 5 out of their first 6 following him getting booted. And I remember, I forgot who filled, it was the interim out there, but I saw a clip online, like, he brought him up to the roof of the arena. They got the whole beam and everything. Talking about like embracing the beam, embracing the city. So maybe when you think you got it good, like obviously Sacramento, they were pretty much the West Coast equivalent of the Knicks. They were the laughing stock of the league forever, and they both kind of turned the corner the same year. Remember, they had the game 7, the series against Golden State, won 7 games. But the last year they kind of was a 2-step, 1 step forward, 2 step back kind of year for them, and everyone kind of thought Mike Brown was there for the long run. And the ownership wasn't happy about it. Everybody kind of frowned upon it, but the results showed right away. So I think that's kind of, you think, you're happy with Tibbs, but if you take a deep look at the organization, is he the guy that's going to head coach you to the promised land? I'm not so sure. Because he didn't do it with Chicago, he didn't do it with Minnesota, and so far he's changed the culture, but he hasn't brought a Larry O'Brien to Manhattan. So
Thanks for the call, Ross. That's where we're headed again, folks. If they're another second round out, someone is going to get blamed for it. They're not going to blame Brunson. They're not going to blame Cat. Maybe they'll blame Mikal Bridges, but Tom Thibodeau will get the blame. I don't think they'll fire him, but people will point at him and say, hey, maybe he's too old school. Maybe he's not with this modern day NBA. Maybe his, playing his players 40 minutes, whatever. I don't know. We'll see. It's coming up. It's going to be fun. And like I said, I don't think that this Knicks team is actually going to be able to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but you don't know who's going to get hurt, who's going to go down, and then maybe there's that little window for them to make a run. Oh, sorry. When we come back, we'll take your call. I'm not going to say your name. I hit the phone, and then Zoo hit the T on me. We're running out of time, so let's break now. We've got Knicks calls and a couple Mets calls, and I now sprinkled in some NFL conversation, kind of moved away from the Yanks conversation. We'll continue to talk Knicks, and the St. John's game will be on. I've got like 50 minutes left. This is Keith McPherson, your nighttime host on The Fan. I'll be right back. All right. Aaron Rodgers to the Saints? Maybe, man. Somebody's going to bring him in. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's got too much pride to go out with like the Jets didn't want me. Like if all of the reports are saying that he was pleading with the Jets, if all the reports are saying he was pleading with the Jets to come back, that shows an interest in wanting to play. And if he has that interest in wanting to play, he will play elsewhere. He's not going to retire. Mets should get a retractable roof. Boomer and Gio were talking about this in the morning. They're not. Maybe in 2050, maybe in 2060. Who even are the Ruckers? Harper and Bailey. And it's funny, right? Because here we talk professional sports all day, every day. And we also play the Rutgers game. The Rutgers game will come on the air after me. Jersey. I want Rutgers to thrive. I'm speaking of Rutgers. Rutgers legend, Todd Frazier right there. But, what Ross was saying is Rutgers, with all of the hype of getting Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, they're worse than they were last year. In Rick Pitino's second year, they're going to be, a 3 seed, maybe a 2 seed. They're a threat. They could win the conference. So let's see. Not Seton Hall, Jersey again. St. John's has people kind of, thinking about college basketball. And that doesn't really happen. St. John's is never really like that. So they're 22-4. They're 13-2 in the conference. Keith, if you can change the NBA All-Star format, what would you do? I would go back to the start. I would have these guys research what it was in the 80s, 90s, and go back to the days when it mattered. And I'd start over. And we don't need all the gimmicks. We could use less gimmicks, and I'd simplify it. I go back to the essence. I'll be right back. Yep. Still holding around 800. Got about 40 minutes left in the show. I'm tired, man. Since I don't have to be on till 12, I didn't really hit the like afternoon caffeine. And oh, I got the burps though. I didn't hit the afternoon caffeine as much. So I'm fading. But I do want to go home and go to sleep. But they putting pressure on me, yo. I got not, not the job. I got people putting pressure on me. They're like, yo, Freestyle Friday, we need some bars. I'm like, I don't have the time. I could rap off the top of my head, but I gotta get pen to paper. Really not even pen to paper. Notepad, put some raps together. I used to rap every Friday on the radio. That was hard for real. That was a for real like challenge. All right, here we go. Back to the show. Oh yeah. I think this was like summer 2018. This was it was either 18 or 17, bro. Banger. PNB Rock remix. Rest in peace, PNB Rock. I found you, girl. I've been around you. Feel like Kanye, I'm bound to. Shorty, if you're down, I'm down to. That was it, man. That was like such a remix that he caught. PNB Rock. Kind of sucks, like all the like rappers that have passed. Like you start to like a rapper and then they get too lit and then they end up getting killed. There's so many of them. XXX, Pop Smoke, Young Dolph, Nipsey Hussle. I could go on, but I'd rather not. 888-808-1019. We were talking about the Knicks. Sorry, Zoo. The music does that to you. Music is like a time machine. You can hear a beat, you can hear a song, and it'll take you back. I'm like, I definitely was riding in the car and they were playing this. And I remember hearing on Hot 97 the PNB remix. And then you start thinking about, man, I used to listen to PNB Rock's first couple mixtapes coming out of Philly. And I hate that, he tried to go to LA and live out there. And then, yeah, anyway, we're supposed to talk about, this is not Hot 97. This is WFAN. This is Sports Talk Radio. Yo, stick to the sports. I know we range off during the day, talk about a whole bunch of other stuff, but I try to keep it right here. St. John's is on, number 10 ranked 10, number 10 ranked St. John's versus DePaul. I'm watching the game in here. Got like 800 people in the chat in between the break, chatting it up, talking about different things. And we still got a full rack of calls. So if you want to call in, go for it. Zoo. Yeah. Yeah. Like double that, like 1,600. Yeah. I'm trying to look, and it's like all of the front seats are pretty much occupied, but if they zoom out, you'll see there's probably nobody up there. I mean, St. John's has been drawing. St. John's has been getting a good crowd, and that's good. Someone in the chat was talking about Rutgers, and Ross was talking about Rutgers. And, I was saying how on the Fan, we talk pro sports so much because New York is a city. Yeah, they just zoomed out. Look up top, Zoo. There's nobody up top. There's nobody in those top, like the 200 level. There's nobody. Yeah, nobody's pulling up to the DePaul game. I remember being in Chicago just being young and dumb. And I wanted to take the CTA from Wrigley to the South Side. And one of my homies was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Yo," because like we were going to see the White Sox play, and he lived in Wrigleyville. And I was like, "Yo, I just want to ride the subway and see what the subway is like." He's like, "Bro, we don't do that for fun around here." I'm like, I take the subway in New York. I'm not worried about it. And I guess he planted something in my head. As the train kept getting further south, it started getting sketchier and sketchier. More sketchy people were getting on. And I remember this girl, Maggie, she was like, "Get off by DePaul." She's like, call me. She's like, I'm driving to the stadium. She's like, "We don't need anything happening to you on the subway. Get off by DePaul University and I'll pick you up and we'll drive to the White Sox game." But yeah, it was getting sketchy. Like, I guess in New York, I don't think it's sketchy when someone comes on singing or trying to sell some or begging or tweaking. But in Chicago, once they were like, "Yo, get off the train, bro. We're not just riding the train for fun." I'm like, "Oh, there's some sketchy characters getting on this car." Yeah. Yeah, and it's way different like terrain and way different like look and atmosphere in Illinois versus the underground here in New York. A lot of the trains in Chicago are above ground. Most of it is above ground. 888-808-1019. The Chicago Bulls will face your New York Knicks next. And Josh Hart will get a rare off day. And they shouldn't need Josh Hart to beat the Bulls. Al is in Maplewood, New Jersey. Al, you're on the Fan. Thank you.
Regarding Chicago, I can't believe you got on that train. You want to see a Bulls game? Forget about
I have the Madhouse on Madison. Yeah, I've seen a couple Bulls games, Blackhawk games.
it, man. You ever gone out there after dark?
Yes. The freaks come out at night. The freaks come out at night.
I can't believe you got on a train heading down to that area. Like, hell.
This was like 10 years ago, bro. I was just younger and dumb and just like a tourist and yeah, nah.
Yo, oh, rough. I mean, people don't understand. If you're in New York, you think some parts of like New York rough? Oh, come on. People run out of the Bulls Arena at the end of the game like it's a week gone. I don't know how it is now. It's been a bit since I've been there, but ooh.
No, because the arena is in a sketchier area. It's not right by the city. It's a little further out from the city. And there's sketchy characters that live a few blocks away. Even the parking is a problem. I remember being out there and all my homies from Chicago, they got a head on a swivel type of like, alertness about them out there.
Yo, look, it's good we talked about the Bulls because here's why when I think about the name, I've been a fan since I was a kid, 7. And this team to me made me the happiest when they had Ewing, when they had that team with Cole. And no matter what they did every year that made me so happy, it always came down to one thing. Yeah, so can we beat the Bulls? Yeah, we beat the Bulls every year. And now I look at these Knicks, and I think their problem is Boston. They are not able to get past Boston. I just don't see it. It could be like all of it. Maybe it's they need new blood in terms of coaching or something like that. But if you look at the games they played the Celtics this year, the Celtics beat them with ease.
Yeah, no contest.
It's no contest. It almost felt like the Celtics had another gear that they didn't even get to yet. So when I, look at this season and, you want to get excited for playoffs, like there's a part of me that almost wants to just stay away. Like, don't end the regular season because when the playoffs come, that's the end.
It's inevitable. Like, you're going to run into the Celtics. There's a high probability.
Yeah. And it's like, when that happens, it's like, it's like depression again. They have to play play the most perfect game, like 4 times perfect games to be competitive against the Celtics. I'm not saying even beat, to be competitive. So, it just makes you just look and just think like, what's the point? I don't want to be that kind of Debbie Downer, but there's a part of me that's like, I've seen this before.
Yeah. And that's why I say you don't know what's going to happen with health and injuries. You got to hope that the Knicks stay healthy, and you don't wish injury on anybody, but it's basketball. We've seen star players go down, and then that changes the whole dynamic. Al, thanks for the call, man. 888-808-1019. You guys are the best. Straight up. Like, I am a solo host. I am by myself. So I rely on people calling up with their takes and their topics and, the conversation and the banter. And that's why I give you guys time. And that vibe that Al spoke of and, Avi even spoke of, like, that's how you should feel, man. I've listened to sports talk radio for so long. And there are some guys in the industry. There are some guys older than me that, like, I guess they reserve that right to be short with you. They reserve that right to be know-it-alls. They kind of have carved out that lane for themselves. I didn't come in here ever trying to carve out that lane. That's not who I am. That's not who I'm trying to be. When I get on the mic, we are hanging out. When I get on the mic, it is nighttime. It is after hours. It is not that serious. I am not better than you. I am not smarter than you. I talk sports with anybody, high-level people and people that don't know. And I feel like we're all welcome, and you should feel that way too. 888-808-1019. Down in Miami, RJ, back on the fan. What up, bro?
What's up, man? What's happening, brother? Good to speak to you. I was trying to get on last night. I think you handled that guy great yesterday. But yeah, I'm here more in Miami, man. Thinking of all you guys. You got to get me homesick listening to Hot 97 and you singing, man. So I appreciate it. Hey, we should have been a spider too, man. We'll talk about that another day.
No, we talk about that right now, man. That's crazy. So, what position did you play? What position did you play?
Special teams. I played in the mid-90s. And, it's funny. I had an offer from James Madison, Boston U, Villanova. I'll never forget this. Make a long story short. I visited all those schools, and Richmond came out of the blue. One of my assistant coaches went there, never heard it. I didn't know I didn't know there was a Richmond University at all. So went down there in January. It was the last visit. I left New Jersey. That's a Richmond far. It was 60 degrees on that campus that day. They took me downtown, and I was sold, man. Seeing that lake, and that's how I ended up there, man.
So
that year, they upset, what Syracuse and basketball. So, I did it, man.
So stay with me, RJ. Universe never unconnects. So last week I was talking about Todd McShay, and obviously you're from this area. You moved down to Miami. You hit me up on Instagram, and I noticed Todd McShay following you. But I was talking about Todd McShay, and I had mentioned how he was a Richmond Spider. And when I went on my visit to James Madison University, also in Virginia, I was on the visit with a couple kids that had Richmond lined up as another visit. And I had an offer from Richmond, but I never made it to my visit because I had so much fun at JMU. Like you and I are connected in that way. You had so much fun at Richmond. You never took your visit to JMU. I had so much fun at JMU. I never made it to Richmond.
James Madison changed a lot. Schools can go. No, that's what was good when I went there, but the campus was good. James Madison was solid, but the campus was so long, and then your post home. Because it's only about 4.5 hours, 5 hour ride from Jersey. So that's for me, man. That was it. So you were in there to the right time. So I said, for the fighters, we think.
RJ, we're losing you, and I know you're down there in Miami, so I don't know if you can hear me. Just get your Knicks take in because you're breaking up, and I know you're calling from the 305.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, real quick, I just want to say this. Nick, sometimes I talk about draft picks. We have the worst draft in the last 20 years. So I was drafting the Knicks got rid of all those picks. Whatever. We didn't even draft the players. So I have homegrown players. I just trust them. It's like 2.5 years ago. They were having stock in the league. And I could go on and on.
RJ, you're the man. We're losing you a little bit. I think we can make out enough of what you said about, not drafting and not hitting in the draft and having to just trust what you have now. And I think that's part of the science, right? The Knicks had missed so much in the draft that they stopped relying on the draft, and they were able to manufacture this team through trades and free agency. And they even said, to hell with the picks in the future. The time is now. The window is now. The Knicks have to be a contender, competitor, and get a chip in the next 3 to 4 years. 888-808-1019 KM to 10:15 p.m. We'll be right back. Yeah, so that was a crazy story, right? I was just talking about how people abuse the DMs. I was just talking about how I open my DMs up, but like sometimes good things come from the DMs, right? So RJ, shout out to RJ if he's watching this on Instagram. He moved from up here to Miami, and I remember him catching like some of my social media content. So like I'm able to even grow our radio station by my reach on social media. So you might see me post something on social media, click on my page, and my page says WFAN radio host. So he starts listening to my show, and he DMs me last week after I was talking about Todd McShay, and Todd McShay was specifically talking about Shedeur Sanders and comparing Jackson Dart and saying that they're not too far off. And he played at Richmond, and I guess around the time Todd McShay played at Richmond. And I'm like, damn, bro, universe never unconnects. I went to James Madison University and played football there, and I had an offer from Richmond, but I never took my official visit at Richmond because I loved it at JMU so much. I was like, I'm done. I don't need to go anywhere else. I'm signed, sealed, delivered. Like I didn't want to make all those trips anyway. I had offers from James Madison University, Richmond, so that would have been 2 trips to Virginia. William and Mary. I knew I wasn't going to William and Mary. That would have been another trip to Virginia. I had an offer from University of New Hampshire. I knew I was not going to New Hampshire. I had an offer from Northeastern. I knew I was not about to go live in Boston. I had an offer from Delaware. They were close. They were the closest drive. 2 players from my high school have become legends at my high school and legends at Delaware, where I thought I was going to follow in their footsteps. Shout out to John Key, rest in peace. And Eddie Conti, you're the man. Your dad as well. I also had offers from Hofstra, but I knew I wasn't going out to LI. I forget where I had offers from. I do regret not taking 5 official visits, though, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity as a kid to go see different schools, different programs, and compare them all together. I had an offer from Temple. I should have taken a visit to Temple, but I didn't want to live in Philly. I just honestly drove down to James Madison University. They had just won the national championship. The campus was amazing. 2 girls from my high school went to school there. Another girl that I was graduating with was going there. At the time that I looked at the school, it was 67% female enrollment. So you do the math. You're about to enroll in a college that has 67% female enrollment. I don't know the student population. I don't know the total population, but I know when I went down there as a 17-year-old kid playing football, full ride, I was sold, man. I was sold. And if you heard RJ, it was tough to hear. He talked about how JMU changed a lot. Yes. When he went there, it was not the JMU it is today. When I went there, it is not the JMU it was today. But when I went there some years after him, right, he went there in like, let's say the late 90s, early 2000s. I went there in the mid 2000s, and then we're here now. They had the blueprint laid for what JMU was going to be. They told us what they were going to do. When I went there, we had a brand new field, brand new weight room, brand new study halls, brand new film room. And we had just won the national championship, so there was a lot of money and things were vibrant and things were good. But now they've got a big-ass home side of the stadium. They've got sick jerseys, Nike partnership. NIL deals. Like, it's lit. Let's see. You went to JMU, you know Brian Shore? I know that name. Played quarterback there. Yes, I do remember watching him play. He went there a decade after me. But yes. Yo, what up, man? I do.
You tried to take the red line to the south side? Are you
Bro,
wildin'?
yeah. You heard that?
Yeah, I was listening on the way in, bro.
I just being dumb, bro. Just with time to kill and not wanting to take
Negative.
a Uber.
Negative.
And like when I told one of my homies that, he's like, nah, get off. And he's like, yo, Maggie's by DePaul, get off there. Cause that was like a couple stops away.
My little cousin used to go to DePaul, bro. Nobody hangs out around there, man. If you go to the Bulls game, the second that game is over,
You get out.
Bobby's about to come out. We gotta go.
That's what I was saying. The freaks come out at night. I've been. But when you come out there as like a Jersey kid, you don't know any better. I was just exploring, being a tourist, and it was nighttime, and they were like, nah, bro, like we can't have anything happen to you out here.
That's how I felt when I first moved over here, because I'm like, I used to chill in the Wild Hundreds. You know, I live on the West Side.
Yeah.
I'm like, New York can't be all that, bro. And I was gonna go get my hair braided in Brownsville.
Yeah.
I just turned 20, and I was gonna go link it with some chick in the projects. And my man was like, nah, bro,
you just don't risk it.
Like, but you don't know.
And like, you don't want to look like a target. You don't want to look like you stand out. And I definitely looked like I stood out. Like, you're not from Chicago. They'll fuck with you. They'll do something to you. I'm like,
they don't care.
Exactly. My homies was like, bro, we can't have that go on. So yeah, I was like, I don't even know how that came up, but that was like 2014 or 15.
Yeah. That's a different world.
From Addison and Russell, I was like, let me get on the train and just take it all the way.
The north side, the second you leave, though.
Nah, it changes. As I said, different characters were getting on that train car. I'm like, oh, hell nah.
No, man, bro. I would never.
That was Carlos, who works on the Infinity Sports side. He's a Cubs fan, and he's lived in Chicago a little bit. Let me see here. Watch Stroman ball out this season and prove all the haters. I don't know about all that. Maybe. Let's see what he does Friday. Marcus went to the same high school as me, so I'm rooting for him. That's good. I'm rooting for him, too. Nets are good at developing players, but poor mistakes from Billy King and Sean Marks. Yeah, they've made a lot of stupid mistakes. Keith, are the Jets keeping Tyrod as a backup? Yep, he's under contract. Yo, you played football at JMU. Do you know Brian Shore? I know of him. I played there 10 years before him. Lil Drizzy Drake on the fan. Now I'm actually about to be done. I'm running out of time here. So let me try and get these calls in. I appreciate you guys calling, holding, and waiting. We're just talking sports. So 888-808-1019. St. John's is up. They're covering the spread. It's 34-22 with 3 minutes left in the half against DePaul. Let's go to Ed in Marlboro, New Jersey, home of the Mustangs.
Marlboro, New York. I'm sorry.
Home of the Dukes. Excuse me for assuming you were down the shore.
Yeah, anyway, the reason I'm calling you, I agree with what you said about Quintana. I'm looking at the starting rotation, and Senga needs six-man rotation so he can get his rep. So I don't see 6 starters in that, what we have left.
Not 6 starters with 3 good ones.
Right. They have the 3 good ones, Peterson, Anaya, and Senga.
And then everybody else is really questionable.
Correct. And I agree with you on that. I heard you say that before. The other thing I'd like to bring up is the Giants football team and the quarterback situation. And I'll be quick. The Giants are going to pick probably the quarterback in Colorado, correct?
I just think if he's there, they won't pass on him. Correct.
Okay, so in my opinion, I think they should get start somebody that's not, a veteran, get a veteran in there. Because look at Mahomes. Mahomes sat out the whole first year. And look how good he is.
I mean, that's the way you got to bring a quarterback in. And you got to work with him.
Yeah,
If Kemp's quarterback was available, I would love that. Yeah.
you'd have to trade the pick that you would pick Shador Sanders with to get Matthew Stafford, and you can't do that. You're not ready to win this year with the toughest strength of schedule and longest Super Bowl odds. They got to sign a veteran on the market, and then also draft a young guy and let that young guy learn. And it might not be a whole year like Mahomes sitting behind Alex Smith, who was all pro. Like, it might just be 5-6 games where it's like, hey, whatever. We start off 1-4, we start off 1-5, run it.
Like you're talking about when Eli came in. He came in at halfway through the season.
Sure, with Kurt Warner, and it might even have been sooner. I think it might have been after 4 games. So, sure, I'm sure Eli and Archie taught him a lot, and it's better to give them a softer landing. We've seen it fail so much with Zach Wilson being thrust in there. It's hard. It's a lot to process. The offense, the defense, the media, the pressure. It's a lot for a young guy with the speed of the game to come in. And I mean, we've seen it work too, but it's a softer landing spot usually has a better result.
Correct. The other thing I had was the quarterback from Mississippi. Do you think he's a first-round pick?
I think he's going to get hyped to be. And it's funny, I was just talking to RJ, who went to University of Richmond, and how we connected, was through my social media stuff and, him being from here, whatever. I had played a clip from Todd McShay last week where Todd McShay was saying after diving into the film of Shador Sanders and Jackson Dart, he doesn't think they're very far apart. He might even lean towards Jackson Dart being worth, the number 2 spot in the mock draft as far as Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, and then Shador Sanders, and not Shador Sanders over Jackson Dart. I think Todd McShay was on to something. I'm going to see if I can find that audio. I think I forget who was producing for me when I played it.
By the way, I graduated 77 from St. John's.
So so you saw it in the 80s, and now it's come back around. How do you feel? What do you think about this new team in Patino?
I like Patino. I mean, it is, it's. I think it's really. I mean, I remember when I was there, they didn't even have the arena they have now. It's so small. Maybe you get. Excuse me. Maybe you get 10,000 people in there. And now they got this big, they go to Madison Square Garden and we never did that.
Yeah, they have Carneseca Arena and MSG. Thanks for the call, Ed. I always say as a fan, stay down till you come up, but as alumni, that's awesome. Like the feeling and the pride that you have from all of the years of like St. John not really being in the conversation to now them being in the front of the conversation where we're talking about them on the fan. They're on TV. They have, I was listening to BT talk about, I guess Vice is doing this like Red Storm Rising. And I saw the clip that BT posted. And now I'm like, I don't usually watch movies or streaming shows, but I'm like, I'll watch that. I want to see the behind the scenes. I want to see the hard knocks of this St. John's team. It's cool, man. It's got to be, really exciting for alumni and for people that live in Queens and just New Yorkers in general. It adds another team, right? We focus so much on our pro teams. There are times where I get on and I'm like, man, we talk so much about the Jets and the Giants and they don't deserve it. They're not any good. Now it feels good to have a college basketball team, a college team in general that we can focus on, and they're pretty good, and they have a chance to make some noise nationally coming up here this next month. 888-808-1019. If you're on hold, stay on hold. I promise I'm going to get to you. I'm running out of time. Keith McPherson on the fan. I'll be right back. Hey, Keith, you excited for Canada, USA tomorrow? Yes, I will be watching, and then I'll be on the fan right after. So, yeah. Yep. Yo, and shout out to Brian Shore. He went to Lackawanna College, and that is like a football school. So many guys go to Lackawanna and then transfer to a bigger school. I'm reading his JMU bio. His JMU bio is a lot more extensive than my JMU bio. I spent 2 seasons there before I transferred out. Because again, going back to why I chose the school, I chose the school because it was hella girls. I chose the school because I'm like, I got a free ride. I'm about to play quarterback here. There's baddies here. And then like, I remember someone telling me like JMU was the best kept secrets. One of the best kept secrets on the East Coast. And it's not a secret anymore. Let me see here. I'm about to be up out of here. All right, let's see what else in the chat. Yeah, he was committed to Miami, Ohio, junior year of high school. Dope. I remember University of Ohio, the Bobcats recruited me. Buffalo recruited me in that same division. Will you be at opening day coming all the way from San Antonio, Texas? I'll be at opening day at Yankee Stadium. Yeah. I haven't missed one in a while. Answering text. People trip me out on Instagram, yo. Instagram and Twitter is mostly just strangers arguing with each other all day. Or at least they be strangers to me. I'm like, I don't know you, bro. You gotta relax. All right, here's my last hurrah tonight. Let me see who Rutgers is about to play. Update's about to tell me. Washington. That's right. They're out west. Makes sense. Just gave you a follow. Cool show. We'll be tuning in regularly. You seem like a cool dude. Depends who you ask. My haters, they say I'm trash. My haters say I'm unlistenable. My haters say I'm super whack. And I appreciate them for that. Because every time they hate on me, someone new like yourself comes through and they form their own opinion. Hell yeah, can't wait to meet you, bro. I'm easy to find, bro. At the stadium, opening day, tweet at me. I'll probably be making a scene. I'll be at the bars. I'll be in the bleachers. I'll be in Legends. I'll be in the suites. All right, here we go. Time to close the show. Yeah. Early start, early exit. I have to say it was a good day, Zoo. I mean, I like doing the 5-hour show, the sprint, not a marathon. But I mean, if this little 3-hour, 3.5 hours, this is nothing. I didn't even need any notes. Yeah, it's light work. I do got to take these calls before we get up out of here, though. 888-808-1019 if you want to sneak one in. Rick is in Manhattan. Rick is on the fan. Good.
Lifetime
longtime Knicks fan, and I have a little bit of a different take on New York. I really think it doesn't matter if they went 64, 55, or 49 games. They're better off with 49. They're better off being the fourth seed. Boston's essentially locked into the two. Okay, if the Knicks to get this championship, they're going to have to beat the Celtics probably anyway. They're put it all the way off the Eastern Conference Championship. Who knows? Maybe the Bucks knock out Boston early. Knicks are much better off in the fourth seed. So don't worry about winning all these games. Don't play all these guys 42, 44 minutes. Play your team. Lose some games. It's fine. Like, prepare for the end of the season, right? Isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah, and not a bad take, Rick. You might be ahead of where we are on WFAN in like a month, when we really start looking at seeding and matchups and who needs to rest, and hopefully nobody else gets injured. You may try to play that game where you don't necessarily like tank, but you do load manage and you rest some guys and you kind of make an effort to, like, if it's close, say, we'll get the seed we prefer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's like you brought up a good point before. All-Star break is not in mid-season. We're already 2/3 of the season away. And it doesn't look like it looks like Cleveland is 1, Boston's 2. Those are pretty much set, right? Take a look at the standings.
Yeah, I'm looking at them.
Right. So we're much better off being 4. So, not that Cleveland would be easy to beat anyway.
See if the Pacers can pick up the pace and the Knicks can slow down the pace.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I love what you said, Rick, about like maybe the Bucks. Like, how many times have we seen like the Heat knocked off the Bucks a couple years ago because Giannis was hurt, and it was like, well, no one saw this coming. Like, that's what I mean by, like, in the NBA, a couple injuries, like, if Giannis or one of these stars is not able to go, like, and it might not be a season-ending injury, but if they're not able to go in the first round and they end up getting knocked off in the first round, that alters the seeding, that alters, who's there and who you face.
Yeah, and and speaking of the Bucks, I mean, they're still really good. I mean, they haven't got their stuff together, but you don't think the Bucks can beat Boston? It's possible, right?
Anything can happen. We don't know if Tatum, Brown, if their health. We don't know. Porzingis, he's never really healthy. We don't know, and that's why we watch, and that's why every week is going to be important. And the Knicks got to stay healthy. And I know you don't wish injuries on anybody else, but it is a part of the game. It is inevitable. It is going to happen. Somebody's going to get hurt. KD has gotten hurt. Kyrie has gotten hurt. Trae Young has gotten hurt. I already mentioned Giannis getting hurt. Embiid has gotten hurt. Like, one of these star players is always impacted by injury. Kawhi has been hurt in the past. Like, every single year, some team is missing Kevin Love. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody is missing from one of these top teams. Thanks for the call, Rick. 888-808-1019. That is, the way that the war is won. You can win all these little battles, but ultimately to win the war, you got to stay healthy. And every year somebody is tripped up. Nets fans will tell you, I'll tell you, because I was at all those games. I was locked in. Harden had the hamstring. Giannis basically gave Kyrie no space to come down. He cranks his ankle. The big three, the scary hours Nets with KD, Kyrie, and Harden that were supposed to be a surefire team to come out of the East, they would have. The Bucks end up coming out of the East because they were hurt. KD almost knocked them out on his own, but his foot was on the line. It is that close of a margin in a Game 7. I was at that Game 7. It is that close of a margin that can swing the fate of the East or the West or however the playoffs shake out. So that, like, I don't think the Knicks right now, when you look at it, you can't say that they're better than the Celtics, the Cavs. Maybe you could say they're better than the Pacers, the Bucks. They've beat those teams. But maybe we don't see the Celtics and Cavs advance, and maybe they don't advance because they're not all the way healthy. 888-808-1019. Tyler is down in Philly on the fan. What's up, Tyler?
Hey, Keith, how's it going? First time long. You and Rick were just talking about Knicks and seeding and, that sort of thing. I just wanted to say you guys are overlooking a very important team, a team I think that's better than the Knicks.
Pistons.
As better than the Celtics. The Sixers, they're healthy.
Wait, the Sixers?
In 7 days because of the All-Star break. Sixers would take down the Knicks easily. They would take down the Celtics.
What happened to the Sixers last year? How'd they get bounced?
Hurt. Embiid had, the paralyzed eye. He was hurt.
He had the paralyzed eye.
We're coming to the play-in.
Yeah, you got to get out of the play-in. Playoff P. You got Paul George. Maybe, man. Tsunami Poppy. When Allen Iverson got y'all there? Are you an Eagles fan? Isn't that enough? You had the Eagles parade. That's not enough? No, not this year. Tyrese Maxey, not this year. Jared McCain's not going to be able to come back for that party. The Zesty Hooper, he'll be back for the finals, right? You're not going to make the finals. No. Something in the water down there in Philly, huh? Yeah, you got to dream on. That's a good dream, though, Tyler. You keep the faith down there. Call WIP. Call WIP up and talk that talk. They're going to be talking about Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Bro, listen. Nick Sirianni, we wanted to get rid of him. He's a dude. He's shotgunning beers in the streets with us. We're going back to back. We're going to re-sign Mekhi Becton. Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the history of the NFL. You guys didn't have enough down there in Philly? You didn't have enough getting knocked out by the Mets in the NLCS? Getting knocked out by the Knicks in the second round? That wasn't enough? Or that was the first round. Or was that the second round? I think it was the first round. You guys didn't have enough of Knicks fans coming down there and taking over your building? You want more? You want more. We'll get there. Right now, the Sixers are what, 11 seed? Yeah, they're 11 seed. And then what did he say? Did he say they haven't lost a game since you lost to the Nets last Wednesday? What did he say? He say they're on a winning streak or something? These Philly ads be really cooked, bro. They be on some other stuff. I could never do it. I could never live down there. South Jersey, Philly suburbs. I could never. They are delusional. Enjoy the Jalen Carter, Josh Sweat. Enjoy the football team you have. Howie Roseman has done it. You're Super Bowl champs. You're not getting to the finals. And I think the Knicks would love to see you again. Jalen Brunson owns your building. Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, remember those guys from Villanova? They would love to see you. They would love for the seeding to get out of the play-in somehow, for the seeding to line up where they got a easy round to get through Embiid. Embiid will be hurt. You can bank on it. He'll be hobbled. My neck, my back, my neck, and my back. I heard the guys talking about Friday. Ezel. Embiid will have a knee, an eye. Something will go wrong. Something will go wrong. I can't subscribe to the Sixers getting it done. I think this year, looking at the NBA, I don't even believe in OKC. I honestly think that they have a better chance this year, but like SGA's got to just continue being the MVP and absolutely ball out. But I just think I'll fall back on the veterans and some of the older heads. Now I don't believe in the Rockets. I don't believe in the Grizzlies. Maybe the Nuggets, maybe the Lakers, maybe even the Clippers. I'm not going to sleep on Ant-Man and the T-Wolves. Kyrie and the Mavericks are going to do something. I don't know if Anthony Davis, street clothes, is going to be ready to go. I mean, Draymond just told you last week that now with Jimmy Buckets that Golden State is winning the title. I'll lean on some of the veteran presence in the West, and then in the East, I think it's a 2-team race. I just think it's Cleveland and Boston, and really I think it's Boston. I think Boston has a good shot to run it back. They got the same team. Okay, I gotta go home now. Coming up next, Rutgers basketball out there in Seattle, taking on the Washington Huskies. Nice school. I actually went out there and saw Michael Penix School. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow after we get the Four Nations face-off, after the Knicks and Nets get on the floor. It'll be a later show. Had a good time rocking with you guys from 7 p.m. on the last 3 days. Keep it locked right here for Rutgers basketball. And before you know it, I'll be right back on the Fan. Thanks for being nice to me tonight. Thanks. I appreciate it. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Zuwap behind the glass. It's been fun. Everybody be safe out there. Good night. WFAN, New York. Damn. All right, yo, I got to go home. Yo, thanks for watching the live. Make sure you're following and all that good stuff. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.